going live? Okay, I think we're live. Do let me know if you can actually hear me and see me. I'm very new to this, so what I'm using here is I've only got one monitor on my computer, so I've got my monitor on full screen, and I'm using my phone to monitor everything else, so if there's a little bit of delay between you leaving a message and me receiving and answering to the message, do let me know. But it says here that we're live. I'm also going to hope that at some point I'll stop saying but like I say, I'm very new to this, so this is literally my first Twitch stream. And I had a whole idea for the things I was going to say and all the rest of it, but basically, welcome. This is me playing World of Warcraft. On the screen at the moment, if it's working the way it should, you should be able to see my main character. This is Darkmoon. He's an old character now. I'm not 100% sure why he's holding a fishing rod, but I made him just at the end of Burning Crusade, which I think Wrath of the Lich King came out in 2008, so that gives you an idea of how long I've been playing World of Warcraft, and I can honestly say that I still absolutely suck at it. I'm really just not good, to be perfectly honest. Hang on, I'm just taking a look on my phone to see if there's any way that I can see what you guys are seeing. I don't know if it'll show me. If not, I might be able to tab out and if you'll excuse me for a moment. Yes. Okay, you guys can see what I'm saying. I just hope you can hear me as well. So do let me know if you can't hear me, because I did have some problems with that. So if we log in, basically I've got a couple of things I'm going to do today. Dareth has got a daily dungeon that he needs to do, which isn't using the dungeon finder and doing endgame content like a lot of people do. Oh, everything's gone quiet. Oh, okay, hello. What it actually is I'm going back to old game content, where I will be brutally murdering some very low level trolls, purely because they might drop mounts. There's a very, very low drop chance, but I do this every day with a couple of characters. So I'm going to go and do that with Dareth. I'm going to go and look around Darkmoon Fair, and you can laugh at me failing through all of that. And when I've done that, I've got a character that I originally made as a demon hunter that I would like to remake as a mage, because demon hunters are fun. I'm glad I tried it out, but it's just not doing it for me. So actually, before we take off, I think the best thing I can probably do here is actually re-equip my weapon, because while I could probably kill those trolls with a fishing pole, because that's how low level they are compared to me, kind of feel like that would be an unfair fight, at least for the fishing pole. So I'm going to make it an extremely unfair fight, and save my fishing pole. So this is Ogrimmar. We're going to catch the airship down to Stranglethorn, and yeah, go and say hello to some trolls. This fine looking dragon, by the way, is Cedric. Cedric was one of sort of the first big rewards that I got in World of Warcraft. You get this albino drake for getting 50 mounts, I believe, and I worked really, really hard to do that. And because of that, Cedric has basically become my favourite mount, and the main flying mount that I use on this character. I do have a whole host of other mounts, you can see some of them up here, but Cedric's my favourite. I can't remember why we called him Cedric, but that is his name. He's a little bit old now, you can see his graphics aren't quite as nice and shiny as the rest of some of them, and compared to some of the newer mounts, there's a huge graphical difference. But I'm very fond of him. So we ride around on Cedric. When I'm on groundwork, I've got my Venomhide Ravesaur here. And the main reason for that is most of the characters I play in World of Warcraft are hunters. I really like hunters. And I think one of the main reasons for that is in Warcraft you can actually go out and pick your own hunter pets. So instead of being given a designated pet, you can basically spot an animal in the wild and go, yep, I want that one. And you can tame it, which is quite a small thing, but also an incredibly huge thing. I mean, it must be huge for the people that made the game, because they've got to come up with stats and animations for all these different creatures. But for me, it again was something that really hit me when I first started playing Warcraft, that I could actually go and just pick any creature I wanted out of the wild and have a companion. Being me, as people who know me will know, I really like dinosaurs. So I picked raptors, and I've got a whole stable full of raptors on this character, and because of that I needed a mount that would match my pets. And I do that with all my hunters where I can. If I can match the mount to the pets, for me I think it just looks better. So here we are in Northern Stranglethorn. There's a lot of trees from up here. I couldn't really tell you what's under them. I'm sure I've explored this area, but I don't remember doing any of the quests here. And actually when I was levelling up with Dareth, it was pre-Cataclysm. So there's a good chance that a lot of the quests here have changed anyway. Which is one of the reasons why I want to make a new character and sort of level up from scratch to sort of see how the game has changed since I made Dareth. Oh, hang on, my phone just bleeped. Was that a message? It was not. Okay. Sorry about this. Like I say, I will get used to doing this. Hello, by the way, if you've just joined me. I'm Guide, the Guide of Misguidance. It's an online name I've been using probably since I was about 14. And this is World of Warcraft, as I'm sure you can tell. And this is Zul'Gurub, where we're just going to go brutally murder a couple of trolls quickly before I go off and do something else. Now, I have completed this dungeon before, I'm absolutely sure of it. I seem to recall we had a load of trouble working out the mechanics for the final boss, but this, I'm not going to be doing any mechanics or anything like that. This is literally run in, find the two characters that drop the mounts, shoot them, and run out again. And because of that, I'm basically trying to avoid killing anybody else, because otherwise this just turns into genocide against trolls, which feels mean. Oh, here's one of my biggest peeves in World of Warcraft. I actually keep pet snakes. Here are some beautiful snakes, and you cannot tame these as hunter pets. You can tame some, but they all look like cobras, and my pets aren't cobras in real life, they're corn snakes, and I would love to be able to have Dareth running around with a bunch of snakes named after the real snakes that I keep here at home. But I can't. I have raptors, which I will get out and introduce to you guys in a minute. Now this is one of the fun things that I find in this dungeon. There are days when I completely mess that up. I get hit round the face by every single boulder and go flying, and it's quite nice to come into low level areas like this and still have stuff that can throw you off a little bit. Actually, while we're here, so here are my raptors. There was a new ability put in recently that allows hunters to choose a perk that gives you two pets. So this is my summoned pet, the Claw, and this is Twinkletoes, who's one of my oldest pets, and the one that, as you can see, matches my mount. So there we go. That was why I got Twinkletoes originally, because he really matches this Venomhide Ravesaur. So yeah, this new perk they put in is fantastic. There used to be an artifact weapon that allowed you to have two pets at once. They took that out for the new expansion, which is about to hit sometime in the next couple of weeks. And because they took it out, they gave us this ability to have 2 pets, which I love. I think it's absolutely amazing. This is Mandakir.
Make peace, my blood. I be delivering you to Haka myself. My soul feeds Jindo.
So it's always fun when you kill a character so fast they have to say all their lines from beyond the grave at once over the top of each other. We're about to get the same thing again in a minute. But this is a nice area. One of the reasons why I keep coming back to World of Warcraft, like I say, I've been playing on and off since the end of Burning Crusade, is just it's nice to wander around in. It's huge, it's probably the biggest game I've ever played. But it's got lots of different areas, lots of different looks to the areas. It's not sort of a wasteland where everything looks the same. And the areas that were wastelands that looked very similar have actually been changed up over the years and improved. I've got to be a bit careful here. Sometimes I accidentally click on these trolls and shoot them, and I don't want to do that. They're just villagers. It's not their fault I'm marauding around here with my dinosaurs. Hang on, phone's beeping again. Ah, excellent. I've just got a message saying that the audio sounds fine, which is a big worry. I spent a lot of time this morning fighting with my microphone. I'm not technical myself. I'm probably about as technically minded as a lemon. So getting my microphone to work with the streaming program that I'm using and with Warcraft playing at the same time was a bit of a marathon for me, actually. Took a lot longer than I thought it would. I had other things to do today. Not important things. I've done all the important things. But a lot of other things didn't get done, basically just because I was fighting with my microphone. And people make this look so easy, and all the tutorials go on about how easy it is, and I'm sure it is easy, unless you're a bit of an idiot like I am. And that's probably something you'll notice while I'm playing the game, actually, as well. Despite having played this game for around 10 years, I'm still absolutely awful at it. I never have top-end gear. I'm never fully optimised for my class. I'm sure there are people out there that will absolutely cringe at my DPS and rotation. But I enjoy it and I have fun, which is basically what games should be about, in my opinion. I think people... Oh.
Now you will feel my wrath.
Well, you see, actually, Jindo, I won't, because I'm going to teleport out of here now and go and do something else, so you can just be angry in your temple. But the reason why I'm running out of here and not teleporting straight away is if we come out here... I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that building in the middle over there is actually where the boss is. So we can sit here and look at him, and he can't look at me because I believe he is chained up over there. Also, this is another fun thing about being very high level in low level areas, is I'm, what, 10 feet away from this Hierophant and his little friends, and I'm sure they've heard people inside the temple screaming, and instead of coming to attack me, they are just going to pretend that I am not here. Which for them, probably a very good way of staying alive. So let's go into my horribly overcrowded bags. And now we're going to go to Darkmoon Fair, play around on some fairground rides. Although I will have to remember to stop in Thunderbluff and buy some flour, because one of the quests I've got requires me to deep fry some frogs in flour. So like a lot of people, I set my Hearthstone to an area where I can teleport easily to other places. This is Summer's Rest in Pandaria. I love Pandaria. It's beautiful. I will admit, however, when Pandaria was first announced, I was really unimpressed. Thank you. And I wasn't interested in it at all. I thought it was utterly ridiculous, and it is now one of my favourite parts of this game. I think it's absolutely stunning. And just look at the detail here, and you can really see here... Actually, hang on. You can really see how the graphics of this game have improved over the years just by looking at the textures and the details and the designs. I mean, it's just a really stunning place. So, oh no, we're going to go to Thunder Bluff. And I'm going to try and remember where I can buy flour here. And again, that's... Oh, hang on, I'm getting a message. A moment. Oh, apparently my Twitch feed is asking people to wait 30 minutes before they can send me messages, which is a little bit annoying. Let me see if I can change that. So I'm going to take a seat here and just see what I can do here. Sorry about this. This is part of basically not knowing what I'm doing. I would assume that there'd be an option to change it from my phone, but I can't see where that is. Right, 1 second. No, I can't see it on the dashboard from my phone, I'm afraid. What I will do is after this stream, I will log out. I'll go back through all my settings and see if I can work that out. So I do apologise for that. But don't worry, I'm hoping to get all this sorted. Like I say, this is very much my first stream. And things can only get easier from here, because to be honest, I've managed to get this far. I can't imagine it will get any worse. Although now I've set it a challenge, I'm sure. So hello and welcome if you've just started watching me. We are currently underneath Thunder Bluff and we're going to go to Darkmoon Fair. But first, we're going to find the cooking shop. And I'm going to chicken out of wandering around randomly. Well, actually, no, you sell reagents. Have you got it? No, you haven't. Right, let's ask them. When in doubt, ask people that know. Oh, you're not very useful, are you? Let's see, profession trainers, cooking. And there it goes, just popped up. Aska's Kitchens, now pinned on my map. Ooh, there's one of the newer mounts. Oh, I was going to go over and look, but she's dismounted. So, Aska's Kitchen, cooking supplies.
I've been expecting you.
So this is what it's for the plump frogs. So you combine with 5 simple flour to make breaded frogs. Lovely.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
So there we go, we've now got some breaded frogs, which I'm going to go and take to the cook in Darkmoon Fair. At first I'm going to... Come on, Cedric. Can't fly through that, mate. There we go. Poor Cedric. I've always suspected his eyesight's not very good, because stuff like that seems to happen to him quite a lot, and it must be difficult for a dragon. You can't see where it's going. So yeah, now some of the people that are following me are actually sending me messages on Facebook to let me know how it's going, and I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. So welcome to Darkmoon Fair. If you've not played World of Warcraft, Darkmoon Fair is a monthly event. You can see it here on the calendar. So it started yesterday and it will carry on until Saturday. And it's sort of an extra-dimensional fun fair type deal for the characters in World of Warcraft. You can come and take a nice look at it over the edge here. I love the music here as well. It's very Harry Potter, very atmospheric. And you can play games and you can earn prize tickets, and if you earn enough prize tickets you can buy mounts. And pets and cosmetic items, so items that change your character's clothing. And it's one of the things that I come and do daily with Drathy here. Oh, somebody in there. It's one of the pink plane striders, I think. So here we are. So the first thing I'm going to go and do, because I do it every time, it's the easiest way to travel across the fair, is I'm going to talk to this gnome here, and she's going to launch me in a cannon, like that, just like that in fact, down to the water's edge. I'm not sure I will have a great day. You're about to fire me out of a cannon.
Very good.
Like many things in Warcraft, I'm not good at this game. The idea is to land in that target over there. Hey! It wasn't a direct bullseye, but that's 3 points out of 5. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm pretty sure as well that with the last update, they updated the graphics of some of these crabs, which is a small thing. They just look a lot nicer now. Oh, hello. Look at that. Nice little crab. So now I'm down this end of the fair. I'm going to work my way back up so I can do that again. So I'm going to try and behave and not just run through all the events, which is what I normally do. We get music here. There's 2 bands that play here at Darkmoon Fair. We've got the menagerie where you can come and look at animals. I've got to say, they look reasonably well looked after. It's not great as far as zoos go, but yeah, I've seen a lot worse. We've got the Brawler's Ring, which is something I've actually never done, because it tends, if I remember right, I think it opens at midnight, and to be honest, I'm usually doing other things at that time of night. Got the Fortune Teller's tent down here. This guy, Chester, he sells clothing, I believe. Yeah, this is one of my favourite games. It's one of the few games that I'm moderately good at.
Welcome, friend.
So this goblin here is going to do the Firebird challenge for us, where she basically launches us into the air and we have to fly around.
Have a good one. What's up?
Right, so here we go. And what we are looking for is these fiery hoops. And there's actually a boss in one of the raids that uses the same mechanic, where you have to fly around behind them, going through the hoops to stay in the air. And this is actually really good fun. I love flying in all kinds of games. And I'm going to try and not go quiet, because I have a tendency to just stop talking when I'm doing stuff, which will surprise the people I know that know me. And I don't want to just suddenly go quiet on you guys. You only have to fly through 15 of these, so I'm not going to go overboard and see how long I can stay in the air, because there's other stuff to be getting on with. Sometimes I do. There's actually an achievement if you can stay in the air, I think, for 50 rings, which I've yet to get. So let's fly along here and get launched out the cannon again, just because we can.
Be seeing you.
Oh, there we go. A bit worried it wasn't going to work then. Nope, that was too far. Oh, that was way too far. Where am I going? What? Okay. Well, I'm definitely not meant to be out here. Quick. Swim back. I don't want to drown. There we go. This is my seahorse. This is the Reins of Poseidus, which is another mount that's dropped out in the wilds by a rare spawn. It's actually, they've made it a lot easier to get hold of now, which is good, because it's a beautiful mount and people should be able to get it. Ooh, stuck in the floor. So that's one thing. A lot of people were quite upset when they changed the spawn rate on the monster that drops this mount. My honest opinion with things like this is that the more people can have and enjoy something, the better. I think it's really nice when they lower spawn rates on rare monsters. It just makes things more fun for a lot of people. It doesn't make things more fun for some people, and I completely understand why some people would prefer that things remained very difficult. And there's a certain amount of kudos to be had, I suppose, from getting items and mounts before the difficulty on getting them is dropped. But for me, it really doesn't matter. There's a very rare drop in this game called the Time Lost Protodrake, which I'm sure a lot of you will know about. But basically that's probably the rarest mount in this game, purely because the monster that spawns it has such a long spawn timer, and it was actually made easier to get a little while back. I think the spawn rate was dropped quite dramatically to make sure more people could get it. It's still an incredibly long spawn timer, and a lot of people complained about that and said that it devalued the ones that they had because they'd spent so long trying to get it. But for me, who still hasn't got it, so I'm maybe not the right person to be asking about it, but for me, if it was easier to get, it's just an awesome looking dragon, and it would be great if more people could ride around on it. So that's very much how I feel about it. But I'm sure people will tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm wrong about most things in Warcraft, according to the general population, and I'm completely okay with that. So this is, without a doubt, the most annoying game in the whole of Darkmoon Fair, and the purpose is to throw hoops onto that turtle over there.
See you later.
And I am really not good at it. It drives me nuts. Because what you've got to do is you've got to guess where the turtle's going to be when your hoop lands. So I was way off with that one. And the little git doesn't stay still either. Ooh, got him. Well, this is actually better than I normally do. Maybe having an audience is good for me. So if I can get him one more time, then I've done the game. Nope. What about there? Not close enough. Yes! Right, let's just throw my other ring and see if I can get him again. Again, that's the best I think I've ever done at this game. And sometimes it can take me 3 or 4 sets of rings just to hit him once. There we go, that was nice and easy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking.
Have a good one.
I will. And these game prizes, I got a ticket. I'm saving up at the moment, again, for another mount. That's mainly what I do in this game, is mount hunting. But I think I've got to collect like 1,000 of these prize tickets, possibly even a few more than that, and it's going to take me a long time to do. Aha! This is the gentleman that I was battering frogs for. So we're going to chuck these into the cauldron and earn some brownie points with this fine looking fellow here.
I have just
Putting the crunch in the frog. Yes, you do smell crunchy frogs. These are perfectly cooked, Arathne. You've done an excellent job. Thank you.
We shall meet again.
So what's next on the list? I think is Tonk Commander. Yeah, here we are. So this is remote control cars, basically. So we're going to drive our little robotic Tonk around and shoot targets, which is good fun. And we're going to try not to get hit by those flying things in the other tanks. Oh, got spotted. Let's get out of here. So I've got to pay a bit more attention when I'm driving, as everyone should when they're driving. Whether it's a remote control car or a real one, it's something you've got to pay attention to. But again, this game isn't massively hard. It's a fun one. There's an achievement for doing a huge amount of stuff in it, which I still haven't got.
Here there.
Yeah. An impressive display. Here's your reward. That's very kind of you, Finley. Oh, Darkmoon Top Hat. Increase experience and reputation gains by 10% for 1 hour. Oh, I got another one. And a well-worn blindfold. Now, this is an interesting item, actually, the blindfold. It's useless. You'll see if I click on it, you get that funny noise and a message saying you do not meet the requirements for this quest. This item, it used to begin a quest, but it doesn't anymore. The Brawlers Guild chain that it's linked to no longer exists. And it's actually the second time... Ooh, okay. Trying not to get run over by a mammoth. That was fun. So yeah, it's now a useless item, so I'll have to destroy that in a bit. Now in here, these two gentlemen, their fancy hats, they are for the pet battles. I don't do pet battles in World of Warcraft, so I don't engage these guys when I'm here at Darkmoon Fair. But other people do, and I've heard that it's quite good fun, but it's not my kind of fun, so I'm a great believer that if you don't enjoy doing something in a game, there's no point to force yourself to do it, so... This one, however, is quite good fun. I'm going to first person for it. And we're just going to shoot these targets. Oop, that was a bit too far over. I always kind of feel that as a hunter I should be exceptionally good at this game, because otherwise why would they allow me to carry ranged weapons? But the idea of Arathne being exceptionally good at anything, other than looking awesome, is a bit of a joke, really. So yeah, nearly 10 years of playing World of Warcraft, and I would say at best I'm mediocre as a player. There are other MMOs that I've been a lot better at. Used to be very good at City of Heroes. I actually played a healer in City of Heroes, which is a role that I have never dared to try again in anything else. I find it quite stressful being a healer. And I have a huge amount of respect for the people that do it regularly, and particularly for the people that do it in raids. I think that's quite incredible. Hang on. There we go. Oh, hello, if you've just joined us. I'm the Guide of Misguidance, and I'm playing World of Warcraft, as you can see. We're in Darkmoon Fair. So we're going to go and have... I was going to say another stab at the cannon, but actually let's go and play Whack-a-Mole. Then we'll have another stab at the cannon, and then we'll go and do the wacky races. So this game is, if you've not played it before, we are going to go and hit gnolls with a mallet and try not to hit the babies. Which isn't something that you'd think a lot of people would need to be reminded of, but yes, hitting babies is bad. Oh, I've got competition. This one is not going very well. Again, we get some fun music here. So it's 1 point for the normal gnolls and 3 points for the big spiky ones. And the hit detection on this hammer is awful. But then, you know, it wouldn't be a fairground if the games weren't rigged to make you spend more money, so I think that's quite fair. There we go. Oop. Yeah, well, okay, so we've got to do that one again. It used to be that it would completely reset your progress in these games if you failed, like I just did, but now they've taken pity on us and it actually counts your total number of hits. So it'll only take a couple more for me to finish this one. In fact, only one more if I can hit one. Oh, you little... Oh. There we go. So that's my challenge complete, so now I'm just hitting them for fun. Yep. So for anybody wondering, I play on the EU servers, and I play on Argent Dawn, which is an RP server. There's not as much roleplay goes on around here as I used to notice when I first started playing World of Warcraft. But there are times when you'll see people chatting in-game, doing things in the real world. We've got some roleplay guilds on this server that I know have events because I have accidentally... Ooh, excuse me. I've accidentally walked through some of them. And it's quite nice. It makes the world feel a bit more alive. Oh, another top hat. I might actually save those up when the next expansion hits. There'll be new factions to gain rep with, so they might actually be quite useful.
Good day to you.
Right.
Very well then.
Come on, Darius, let's make this the last time in the canon. Okay. Let's go for here and hope that it does not glitch. Oh. Well, it was enough to complete it, but like 2 feet further over and that would have been bullseye. Hello, if you've just started watching. I do apologise that you can't comment in chat. There's some setting that I've set up wrong and I can't change it from my phone. So I'm playing full screen, I've got my phone watching chat. I think that I will have to log out and change the settings before my next stream, so I am sorry about that. Oh, wait, no, I was going to do the races. This is another thing that I find after playing World of Warcraft for this long, is sometimes I kind of go into autopilot, and my character ends up going somewhere or doing something, sort of without getting permission from my brain first. So, I hate the races. I'm very, very bad at the races, so I apologise if I get a bit ragey or if I suddenly go quiet, because the main thing with the race is it relies on direction sense, which is something that I have absolutely none of. So what we're going to do, the real race. Okay, Darkmoon Racer, let's see what you've got. The real race has 4 legs. Get to the blue post, then the green, then the red, then back here. Your time matters, so do it fast. Your time does matter, but it doesn't matter to me, so I will just be happy if I find my way back again, to be honest. My racer here has got different abilities, but generally speaking, we follow the yellow arrows, and we try not to get hit by anything. Oh, there we go. Right, there's one up there. Hello, crab. So now I've got to find the blue post. I can find the green post. Oh crap. Okay. That's one post. I think that was the green one. I don't know. Ah, there's the red one over there. Okay, that's alright. Okay, if we're lucky, I might actually do this in a reasonable time. The difficult one will be the second race, which is a nightmare. Whoa, no, didn't mean to do that. Oh well. Whee! I've got to be a bit careful here, or you're going to land in a tree. Well done, Dareth. I should have heeded my own warning there. I've been a bit more careful. Right. Oh, another tree. Okay. It's meant to be a race, not a tree climbing competition. There we go.
Yo. Keep your ear to the ground.
Now this one, you can actually do multiple times in a day, but I really don't like it, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go and do the even harder one. So,
Well, spit it out.
so here's the big one. Good luck out there. This race has 4 legs. Get to the purple post, then the green, then the red, then back here. So it's basically exactly what I've just done, but there's a lot more obstacles, and it's a lot further distance, and it takes you way up into sort of the trees up over there, so
Catch you on the flip side.
I'm going to go and get lost. Wish me luck. Here we go. Hello, crab. So the real trick here as well is you've got to be quick, because otherwise you actually fall into the water, which makes it a whole lot harder. So what we're going to do... There we go. Oh dear, been spotted. Oh. Now some people, if they're trying to do this fast, will cancel the parachutes and hit all the bonuses and stuff, but to be honest, I get so confused if I do that it becomes a nightmare. Right, so that is one post. So now we've got to try and find the other one. Oh. This may seem counterproductive, but there's actually a post over there on that island that's ahead of me. So I'm taking a shortcut. There, you can see it's just lit up. Actually, it might not be a shortcut, it might be a long cut for all I know. Let me hit that. That worked out okay. Now we need to find the last one, which, oops, should get off the scenery there, take us back towards the entrance to Darkmoon Fair. Don't know why the music stopped. Ah, here it is. Excellent. Get alone. And now you can actually see that there are obstacles and banners set up here now that won't exist for the people just coming into the fair, because like when I like when I first came to Darkmoon Fair, there was none of that here, but they are kind of hidden and phased for people that are doing the race. Whee! Right. Let's get going. There's the carnival boss. Whoops. Oh, we're okay. Excellent. And then you get a well-deserved round of applause. There's my prize tickets. Oh, and I got a Night Saber. This isn't a mount, this is a stationary fairground ride, which I might... Actually, yeah, let's do that. Just to show you what it's like. Oh, can I not use that here? Really? Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll go and use it somewhere else then. So we're going to put Dareth back into Summer's Rest, where he can chill out, and then we're going to go and remake a character. Have a bit more fun, I think. There we go. Let's see if I can use that here. Oh, it'd help if I knew which bag I'd put it in, wouldn't it? Oh, he looks so happy. I love these things. There's so many little things like this in World of Warcraft that really just make the game for me, as far as I'm concerned. Right, so yes, if you have just started viewing me, there is a setting problem that I've set up with the chat. Excellent. Yes, I am indeed riding the Nightsaber. And I sometimes use these when I get them when I'm waiting for airships to pass by, and you just sit here looking super serious. And look, there's an actual Nightsaber. Someone's running around with it on there. I think mine's better, to be honest. Look how serious he looks. It's fantastic. Anyway, that was Darkmoon Fair, so Dareth has now done everything he needs to do today. Yes, I do have an unread letter, which is basically all the gear that the character I'm about to delete had. I sold, sent Dareth the money. Yes, it is definitely better. So we're going to log out. I'll show you a quick tour of all my characters in the login screen. And then we're going to delete my Demon Hunter and remake him as a Mage. Because I've never played a Mage, and I think it'd be quite good fun. It will be a Blood Elf. I'm afraid if you don't like Blood Elves, then this really isn't going to be the channel for you. Because I love Blood Elves. So here's Dareth. His full title is actually Crusader Darathnin, and this tabard he's wearing is from the Argent Tournament, which, again, back when Wrath of the Lich King was relatively new, I spent an awful lot of time doing the Argent Tournament achievements and dailies in order to get this tabard, and it's sort of become a part of the character. The bright pink shirt that he's wearing here as well was made for me by a friend who had tailoring. And again, Dareth has worn it pretty much since I think he was about level 25. So it's a pretty old shirt, and I suspect it probably smells pretty terrible by now. Dareth looks very fancy, but I can't imagine he's the tidiest bloke in the world. So here as well, if you look through my list here, I have a lot of hunters. I like hunters. So this is my Pandarian hunter, and her crane, who's called Peck. This is Asha and her mana worm. This is Serena. Serena is my only Alliance character, which is something I will probably talk about at length at a later date. I'm not a fan of the Alliance, and I'm also not a fan of this outfit, and I can't remember why I put it together. Anyway, Serena's pet of choice is always a fox. And then we have Numidia. So, Numidia's pet isn't out at the moment. He actually has spiders. He's got two very nice spiders called Lunis and Orbeska. Numidia is one of the new allied races that you can get in the current expansion. He is a Nightborn, which is a reskinned version of Night Elves, which have allied themselves with the Horde. And I really like them. I like Night Elves, generally speaking, and I was always a bit disappointed that they were Alliance side. I'm not so fond of the Alliance, so it's nice to have them. And in exchange, the Alliance got reskinned blood elves called void elves, which I'm not too fussed about. I have actual blood elves. And then here we have my little goblin hunter. I haven't done very much with her yet. She's got a crab, which is actually her starting pet. She hasn't gone out and found anything else yet. And then finally, way down here, we have my last hunter, Rictus, who, as you can see, has a lovely smile. He's a very friendly guy. And his pet of choice, he's got several actually, is ghosts. And I'll be playing more with Rictus in the next expansion, because in the next expansion they're actually bringing out undead beasts that certain hunters will be able to tame. And while I'm not sure I'm going to replace his ghost pets, you can see his wolf there in the background. I can't remember what the wolf's called. I've got a feeling it might be called Buttface. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to replace the ghosts, but it'll be interesting to round up some more animals for him. So, the character I'm going to delete, this is Maradiva. So, when I first made Maradiva, probably about 5-6 years ago, he was a warlock. And I think I played about 3 levels with him and didn't get on with it. Then they came out with Demon Hunters, and I thought it'd be really cool to remake him and to particularly to have a different skin colour on a blood elf. And I love how he looks fantastic, but I really just don't get on well with the way that Demon Hunters play, so I've decided I'm going to delete him. I'm going to reuse the name and to a certain degree the look that he has, and we're going to level him up as a mage. So hopefully lots of fireballs, lots of splashing mana around everywhere, and we'll get a nice look at the Blood Elf starting area, which is one of my favourite areas in the game. Which I guess is a good thing, given how many Blood Elves I actually have. If I didn't like it, it would be hugely tedious. So I'm just going to delete him quickly, and then we'll go through character creation. So, bye-bye Maradiva. Hello Darth. And we're going to create new character. We'll go for a Blood Elf. Definitely a male Blood Elf. And Mage. So, what skin colours do we have? I think we're probably going to go for number 4, to be honest. I think that's probably the darkest of them. Looks most like he did before. And what we're actually going to do is there's a new option now to have yellow-eyed Blood Elves, which I really like. It's something a bit different. It will make him stand out from my others. So instead of having the smarmy green eyes, we're going to go with smarmy yellow eyes, which I think will be nice. So we've got some... I love this hairstyle. This is the Sephiroth hairstyle, in case anyone's wondering. Quite like that one as well, but I think we're going to go with what he had before, which is that one. He looks like quite a distinguished gentleman, doesn't he? And then the last thing we're going to do, he's a mage, so we're going to give him an evil goatee, because I think that's quite acceptable. Evil wizards should have evil facial hair. And then we're going to hope that nobody has stolen his name in the 30 odd seconds that it took me to do that. There we go. And then what we're also going to do is poke him back up the list so that I can find him later on. Right, so let's go take a look at the Blood Elf starting area. So hello and welcome if you've just started viewing. I'm Guide of Misguidance. I'm playing World of Warcraft. No need to pull that face, Maradiva, thank you. And we are about to start levelling up a mage from scratch. And I have never played a mage before, despite playing this game for many, many years. So let's go and see what it is about.
past few years have seen unprecedented changes within the eternal land of Quel'Thalas. The Blood Elves, following the will of their crazed leader Kael'thas Sunstrider, channeled dangerous, chaotic magics to transform their sacred Sunwell into a gateway of unspeakable evil. While Kael'thas and his demonic masters were eventually defeated, a different kind of transformation occurred within the Sunwell itself, as a dying Naru sacrificed its life essence to reignite the Sunwell into a fount of holy energy. Now, the Blood Elf Regent Lorthamar Theron sees a new hope on the horizon for his people. Over time, the Sunwell's light could cure the Blood Elves of their cursed state, but many still cling to the arcane powers they've procured and are hesitant to relinquish them. As one of the remaining Blood Elves, you must fight to protect Quel'Thalas and help redeem the soul of your ancient people.
Now, see, that's an introduction I've not actually seen before, so when I started playing with Dareth a long time ago, it was quite a different story. Oh, hello, who's that? Avaby the Explorer. Hello there. So it's quite nice to see the changing introductions as well. So even though we are a magic user, definitely an evil wizard, look at that face, I wouldn't trust him. We've got the golden eyes, which means this particular blood elf isn't actually fel corrupted, which is what the green eyes meant on the other ones, I believe. Now, what I could do, in theory, I've played this game a long time, is put on some heirloom items which help you gain experience faster, but I'm actually not going to do that. We're going to do this as a pure run. We will get what equipment we get out in the world, we'll run around, do the quests, and level up as if I didn't have access to a huge number of stuff. So what that will also mean is that I won't be using a mount until I reach level 20. I could, because I actually have a mount that's chauffeured, because apparently if you're under level 20, you're not safe enough to drive a vehicle in this game, which actually might be quite reasonable, having seen some of the trouble Dareth gets into. But I won't be using the chauffeured motorcycle. We will be running around on foot. It'll probably take a bit longer to get things done. Oh, hello. A new character logging in there. And it also means that using the transmogrification system and things like that will be a bit different. Warcraft has an inbuilt system that allows you to change your outfits. And I can actually show you here some of the outfits which I've managed to collect with other characters. There's my collection of shirts, my collection of robes, and in theory all of these I could put onto this character using this system, and I'm sure I will actually get around to doing that at some point, but for now we're just going to go with the basic outfits that we've got, and we're going to see how things play out. One thing we are going to do though is this character Maradiva, when I used to roleplay him, was a dragon, and with that in mind we're going to go into my pet journal and we're going to look through all the dragons that we've got here, and we are going to find Marava, who is a bronze whelpling. I'm going to put that down there for now, and Marava is going to be our loyal companion. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up some taskbars here, if I can remember where they are. Action bars, because I always like to have all the action bars that I can. It makes it easier to maneuver things. So what do we start with? We start with a Hearthstone, which will return us to this area here, and Arcane Torrent, which is the Blood Elf racial ability. It has been changed. It used to silence enemies for a certain amount of time. It now removes one beneficial effect from all enemies. And it gives me some mana back, which is good. Completely useless for Dareth though. Oh, here we go. So here is somebody, this is Novira the Explorer, Novira, and she's using the chauffeured Mechanahog. She's probably also wondering what I'm doing, standing around like an idiot. I kind of am an idiot, so that's okay. And here we have Magistrix Irona, so let's see what she says. Reclaiming Sunstrider Isle. The sooner you begin your education, Maradiva, the better for us all. There is little room for error, so listen closely. The burning crystals, the green floating objects to the west of Sunspire here, have long been used to power the Isle's experimentations. The mana worms were their guardians, but the scourge invasion of Kel'Thlas has driven them errant from our lack of magical control over them. There is little choice but to thin their numbers for reclamation. Do this, then return to me. And we get something called a worm sash. Lovely. So, we're basically just going to go and beat up the wildlife, which I'm sure people who have played these games before will know is a large part of a lot of MMOs. So what have I got? Frostbolt. Actually, that's a point. General. I'm going to put my auto attack on there. I probably won't need it. Arcane accuracy, arcane affinity, arcane resistance. That's all good. So frost, arcane, and fire. So I'm assuming that when I reach a certain level, I'll be able to swap into fire, but I can't remember what level that happens at. But that's okay. The other thing I'm not going to do is I'm probably not going to join a guild with this character. Mainly because I have one particular guild that I like, and I'm not sure how they would feel about me constantly streaming with their antics going on in the corner. But if people get send me guild invitations, I will certainly mention your guild on my stream. Depending on when you do it, I may be cursing at you if you're getting in the way of combat, but, you know, it's always nice to see what other guilds are out there. And again, if you're wondering where I am, I'm on Argent Dawn in the EU. So here we are. If you're wondering why my game has got a slightly yellow cast to it, I actually use a program that reduces eye strain by putting a yellow sheen over everything. Having said that, this is also a very yellow area. And while I will probably take that program off for the next stream, there's a kind of wonderful... Ooh, why am I flying? Oh, okay. Fair enough. There's a wonderful sort of sense of sunlight in Sunstrider Isle, which I guess is reasonable given that it's called Sunstrider Isle. Anyway, let's get on and frostbolt some mana worms, I guess. Now, this is a little disconcerting for me because I normally have hunter pets who will... Ooh, have I not got auto loot on? Okay. We're manually looting today, fun. I normally have hunter pets which get in between me and what I'm aiming at. And without them, I've got to say, I feel a little bit vulnerable. Go on, hit it with the stick. That's it. Poke it to death. You can do it. Actually, let's not. Let's try and stay at range. Because as a cloth-wearing character, don't have quite as much protection as a hunter would. Let's also not go through the bush. You know, I'm gonna just turn off those health bars. They're a little annoying. So combat, auto self-cast. Why is it not under here? Yeah, we don't want the personal resources display. Some people find that very useful. I don't. If I want to see that, I can look up in the top corner. Right. Oh, and actually, while I'm doing this, let's find auto loot. There we go. Auto loot is useful. Although I've only got one bag at the moment, it will just save me a bit of time. Oh, a whole 9 damage! I am a god. Die, evil worm. Not you, Marava. You're fine. There's not one over there. And this is another thing I sometimes forget in World of Warcraft, is actually you have a huge amount of range on ranged attacks. So if you're doing things properly, you can usually get in a couple of hits before they get up and start eating your face off. Oh, these brooms. You can actually get one of these brooms as a companion pet. I had one for a while, I think. It's a nice little touch. It gives a lot of personality to this area, I think. Oh, you're gonna get it. There you go. Wow, poking it with a stick really does nothing. Definitely much better with the magic, I think. As you can see down here at the bottom, my experience bar is filling up nicely. So not using all the fancy stuff that will increase my experience gain. Gee, why am I attacking that one? I've done the quest. Let's stop murdering the wildlife. It's not going to particularly slow down my progression, I don't think. It's nice if you're power leveling, you want to get another character up quickly, but I'm really here for the experience. Oh, there's Novara again. Let's be polite.
Our enemies will fall.
Reclaiming Sunstrider Isle. You've successfully completed your first task. For that, you are to be congratulated. Why, thank you, Magistrokes. Such success gives me faith that you will turn out better than those young blood elves who fail to heed the lessons of their masters. That would be Dareth, I'm pretty sure she's talking about there. Continued success will be rewarded, not only with knowledge, but also with tangible rewards as well, which means she's going to pay me. Your work here, however, is not finished. There is much more to learn, my young friend. Boom! I am level 2. It's always satisfying, isn't it, to level up? Unfortunate measures. Your effort has made something clear that honestly I wish were not true. The unchecked power of the burning crystals has maligned a much larger swathe of the Isle's natural balance than I thought. We must now take on more unfortunate measures to reclaim control. The nearby lynxes have succumbed to the influence of the crystals, and they must be put down. Bring their collars, Maradiva, as I may yet be able to fashion a magical restraint to turn some back from being uncontrolled. So for this quest, we've got corrupted wildlife, so again we're just going to go and...
is at hand.
Well, it is if you're a lynx. Yeah, we're just going to go and beat up more wildlife. Come on, Marava. Oh, there's a cat. Hello. That's a nice cat. But you, man-o-worm, shall be spared. For now. I actually feel really bad about this. If you attack the lynxes, their cubs will also fight back, and it just makes you feel like a bit of a git, to be perfectly honest. Now, there's also actually a fairly good chance that I'm going to die doing this, because, yeah, cloth-wearing character and I have no healing potions at all. So we may yet see the Springcore cub get revenge on me for murdering its parent. Oh, that was actually close. You know what might help? I actually put on that belt. Oh, very dapper. The turquoise goes appallingly with the purple. There we go. Right. Let's back up and see if we can get that one. I regret this. I regret everything about this. Oh. I don't have any healing items at all, actually. And I've only got 50 copper, so I probably can't buy any either. So I'm just going to have to sit here for a few moments and regain my health. This is quite a change, actually, from playing a hunter. Look, it's just taunting me, walking backwards and forwards. Evil beast. Or not evil beast, I mean, I actually like cats. So yes, if you are just joining me, there is a setting that I need to change in chat. So it, I believe, will block you from commenting for 30 minutes, and I am going to change that for my next stream. I'll be streaming until 4 o'clock local time, which will be 5 o'clock realm time. I am Guide of Misguidance, and we are playing World of Warcraft, and we've just started levelling up a mage. I should say badly levelling up a mage. This guy does not have a great life expectancy, I'm going to be honest.
I need to target something first.
Don't get pissy with me about it. Look, there's one over there, you can target that. I love the voice acting in this game. It's relatively basic. World of Warcraft is now a very, very old game. And this area we're in at the moment is, I want to say, a little over 10 years old. So it doesn't look quite as up to date and fancy as other games, but it has a lot of character to it. Wow, can I reach all the way over there? Oh, that's good range. Which I guess is good, seeing as I can't move while I'm casting. Maybe that's the trick with mages, is you've got to get stuff when it's still a long way away, which is going to be really good fun when we start meeting some of the bad guys that can chain. Chaining being an MMO term for when one bad guy spots you and starts attacking and then triggers all the others to do the same, and they kind of run along in a great big line or chain. Probably don't need to explain that to you, but there's always a chance that there'll be people watching this that haven't played MMOs before, so you know, we want to keep it easy and inviting for everybody. Come on, you can get him. Oh no, he got you. Ha. There we go. Right, that's all the wildlife slaying that we've got to do for that quest. And it is a shame. These animals are, you know, they're not at fault for what's happened. It's the fell energy that's pouring out of these big green crystals. I mean, look, would you trust a crystal that looked at you like, oh, hello? Did I just get photobombed by a mana worm? How rude. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, would you trust a crystal that looks at you like that? I wouldn't. Right, let's go see what the Magistrix has to say. Ooh, now that is a crab, and madam, I think your turtle might be ill. Yagrasic the patient. Oh no, maybe he was just cocking his leg.
What business have you?
It gives me no pleasure to ask you to destroy these beasts. While in times past we have lived in relative harmony with the woodlands creatures, these are different times. The first order of business for all Cinderai is survival. Make sure you remember that. Well, as somebody who wears cloth armour, Magistrix, believe me when I say that I'm painfully aware of survival problems. So, the tower and surrounding areas should now be relatively secure, though only for the time being. Well, of course, because, you know, the creatures respawn. You have done well in providing us with a buffer of security, but we will need to reassert control over the entire isle if we are to survive here in the long run. This will involve tackling much greater threats than errant mana worms and lynxes. Take this, Maradiva. You will no doubt make good use of it for the tasks to come. And we've got a pair of braces. Sorry, bracers. Braces are the things that go on your teeth. Bracers are the things that go around your arms. I mean, I guess he could shove them into his mouth, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. Right. Report to Lanthan Perilon. Oh, lots of new players starting today. This is quite nice. You are to report to my assistant, Lanthan Perilon. He will instruct you on what needs to be done next. While we here at Sunspire will continue to rein in the burning crystals, you will be focused on a more pressing matter concerning Falthran Academy. Is that how you pronounce that? Lanthan will explain fully when you speak to him. Simply walk west of here along the path, and you should see him standing close by. Good luck, Maradiva. Your continued success shall be rewarded. Now this is an interesting thing while we go off to do this.
Anything.
I will. I'm just going to put those braces on. Is any better? Oh, I can't wear those, it's a leather. That's also... Who's this? Assistant Professor Spice Lord. Well, he just leveled up. Good for him. And we've got a hunter here with her pet. Anyway, what I was saying is, it's an interesting thing. It actually gives you directions in this quest, and the reason for that, if you look up in the corner here at the minimap, the minimap never used to give you directions to anything. When I first started playing this game, eons ago, you had to actually run around and look for things. It showed quests, like the ones up here, which we are actually going to go and pick up before we head off, but it didn't show you destination locations. You may have noticed when we were killing the lynxes, there was a highlighted area on the map. You had to use external programs to actually get those instructions, and some of these older quests do have the directions in them for when you basically had to wander around and hope that you could find the right place, which was fun, I'll admit, unless you spent, as I did once, 2 hours looking for a cave. That was over in Hillsbrad Foothills, I believe, which we may yet go there at some point. So here we have Well Watcher Solanian, who has got a task for us.
Our enemies will fall.
Yes, they will. The Sunspire held a beautiful vantage of the Sunwell once. Our lives have been turned upside down, Maradiva, but we nonetheless carry on. It is our way. We are survivors. If you are to survive this upheaval, to carry on in your own right, then you must learn how to survive. That's actually very good advice. All Blood Elves must do this. You must master your insatiable hunger for magic before it masters you. Well, that's curious, because Maradiva here with his yellow eyes, he's not actually fel-corrupted. I mean, I guess he might be a recreational mana user, but he's certainly not a dedicated one. So yes, hello if you've just started viewing me. We are playing World of Warcraft. I am Guide of Misguidance, and this dapper-looking fellow with the stick is Maradiva, and his little friend here is Marava. So we've got 2 quests here: the Shrine of Dathramar. Day after day I stand here, watching, waiting. I've been accused of dwelling too much on our past while my eyes look to the horizon. It is my firm belief that each visitor to this island should honour those who have sacrificed all so that they may continue to do so. Dathramar Sunstrider was our first king. He led us here from Kalimdor through the Maelstrom. Seek out his shrine to the west, and do not return to me until you've read the plaque upon it in his honour. So yes, Blood Elves were a faction of High Elves originally, who came here from across the ocean, set up camp, and got a bit screwed over when the Sunwell exploded. So, Solanian's belongings. With all the chaos happening here at the Sunspire, I haven't had a chance to collect my belongings. I've left... I'm going to start that again. With all the chaos happening here at the Sunspire, I haven't had a chance to collect my belongings I've left outside at various places on the Isle. I must maintain my vigil over the Sunwell here, so I'll ask you to collect them in my stead. I need my scrying orb, my scroll of scourge magic, and my journal. Use this satchel for some extra space, as my things are rather bulky. Oh, congratulations, whoever that was. Return them to me, and I'll give you a little something. You know, for the effort. You could keep the satchel as well. So this untidy git here basically wants me to go and clear up his stuff for him.
The Sunwell.
I hardly forget it, mate. Now, this is an interesting thing. He is a well watcher, conducting a vigil of this. So, I guess he's got to make sure that the brooms don't chase the cats or something. Who's that down there? A wounded outrunner. Oh, okay. I love the music in this zone. Oh, hello, Mariva. Okay, let's go and clear up his stuff. And can I get down here? I'm not going to jump. I have jumped in the past, but Maradiva here doesn't have particularly robust armour, and I wouldn't want him to damage his delicate elven skin by face planting into the ground out there, so we're going to be old-fashioned and use the door, I think. Whoop. Excuse me, training dummies. I'm going to have a word with Arcanist Ithanus here. Hello.
We will persevere.
We will. A fistful of slivers. It's a shame that we've lost control of many of the creatures here on the island. This was once a tranquil place of study and research. Now it's all we can do to keep from being attacked by our own creations. I'm going to offer you a chance to receive a magical boon in exchange for some collecting work on your part. Bring me a stack of arcane slivers that are found on the mana-using creatures of Sunstrider Isle, and I will cast a spell on you that should aid your adventures on the Isle. So, again, we're going to go and brutalise some wildlife, and he's a bit enthusiastic, and in exchange we're going to get some stuff. What was up with that cat? Must have seen a mouse. Oh, we've got an armour smith here. Let's
Do not loiter.
Okay. Well, I can't buy anything from her because she's not selling cloth armour, but I can certainly sell some of this junk. I'm not going to sell my Hearthstone though, that would be
Death
silly.
to all who oppose us.
You're a weaponsmith. I don't know if you're going to have anything I can use. Ooh, look at that, a mana gathering staff, which I can just about afford, will do a whole 0.3 damage extra per second. Or I can arm myself with a knife for an extra 0.1 damage. You know what, I'm gonna keep my shiny stick. It's not enough of an upgrade for me to waste all my magic on.
Victory lies
My magic? My money. Sorry. Thirst unending. If there is only one lesson you deign to remember from your time on Sunstrider Isle, let it be this. Control your thirst for magic. It is a thirst unending, Maradiva. What you absorb must be controlled and released via arcane torrent. Failure is to become one of the wretched, hopelessly addicted and insane. Seek out a mana worm and unleash your arcane torrent upon it. Learn to master your power. When you've sufficiently released an arcane torrent, return to me.
Time is of the essence.
So, this fellow here is also a mage. He's wearing all the special gear that helps you level up. So yeah, not only am I going to be beating up the wildlife, I'm also going to be shouting at the wildlife. Because why not? Let's see what cloth we can get. I'm pretty sure, I mean the shoes would be nice, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some as a quest reward at some point, so I'm not going to waste my money right now. Right, let's go yell at a mana worm. And unsurprisingly, I have now hacked it off. And it's going to eat my face while Mariva watches. It's very weird, having played so many hunters in the past, to have a pet who is literally just going to watch me being eaten alive. Okay, so mana worms drop the arcane slivers that we want, that's good to know. And let's hand this in and level up. You've done well today, Maradiva. Why, thank you, Arcanist. Your willingness to learn shows that you may very well rise above the unyielding cravings you must endure as a blood elf. Rest not on your laurels, young one, but instead seek to master what you have learned. Only through diligence will we as a race survive. Take this, it may be of some use to you. Go now and bring glory once more to our people. Well, how about if I just try not to bring shame? Oh, I got a new ability. So what's this? Fire Blast. Blasts the enemy for 14 fire damage. Castable while casting other spells. Oh, I like the sound of that. Right, well, let's go twat a mana worm and see how this goes. Oh, I see, so it's got a longer cooldown, 6-second cooldown. But it is effective. Nice. Any more I can take a pot shot at? Oh, there's one. Oh, nice, I can do that while I'm channeling. Oh, that's nifty. Yeah, alright, let's do another one. Nice. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of mana worms around here, so we're just going to kill them all. I actually like mana worms. They're nice creatures. As I showed you earlier, one of my hunters actually has them as pets, which is pretty cool because you actually couldn't tame them when I first started playing this game. And Blizzard does keep adding in additional stuff that you can do and additional creatures that you can tame, which is nice. It's definitely not a static game, World of Warcraft. Oh, hello. How about that one? Do you want... Oh, you're going to poke it with a stick, are you? How did that go for you? Boom. I do like that fire blast. Right, so we only need one more arcane sliver now. Now there was a time where creatures in the starting area, some of them were non-hostile, like these ones, which means you can walk up to them and they won't attack you, but a lot were actually hostile. That has now been readjusted to make the game a bit more welcoming for new players. So all the animals here are now friendly. And it does make a difference. There's nothing like being eaten alive while you're trying to complete quests. Now, I'm actually not going to hand a fistful of slivers in yet. We're going to see what this guy wants us to do, and we'll hand it in when we've collected up Selenian's items.
What business have you?
Hello, Lanthan. Magistrix Arona told me you'd be along quick enough, Maradiva. The Falthrian Academy to our west, the huge floating building with the ornate spires, and again, you can see there that's directions and a description to help new players find where this building was before it would show up on the map, is in a bad shape. You're going to be leading the effort to recapture it from one of the wretched, a blood elf who has forever succumbed to their basest cravings. I hope you're ready to work. This is not only going to be a lesson about danger, but also what happens when you forsake the realities of who you are.
Shorel Aran.
Okay then. Before sending you to the Academy, I want you on another task that needs to be dealt with immediately. Once used to aid us in the gardening of Sunstrider Isle, the bestial tenders now have grown out of our control. Clear them out with due haste, but be warned, their lack of control has made them aggressive. It is such aggression that forces us to put down these once gentle servants. It doesn't please me to ask you to do such a task, but survival is survival. I'll mourn later. So that is a shame. We'll get some money for it though, so...
Hold your head high.
I will. So at least he's paying us to do his dirty work. So yeah, if you see here on the map, and actually if I bring up the main map, these big blue areas, these quest points, a relatively new addition to the game. So again, he was describing the academy to us, And if we look over here, I believe that this building behind the tree over there, I believe that is the academy that he's talking about. But first, if we just check the map, what are we closest to? Let's go over here and collect some of the junk that Solanian's been lying around. That's often the case with these wizarding types, you know, they can be very forgetful and very untidy. More mana worms, but we're going to let these ones live. And we've got his journal. Very nice looking book. I'm surprised that Blizzard doesn't actually sell a notebook with that design on it, because it's pretty awesome. I don't know. No, I don't think we can actually go in anywhere and read his journal, which is a shame. I would love to know what he's recorded from his time staring at those brooms cleaning the floor. You know, purely for my own curiosity. If you'll excuse me, I just need to have a drink. There we go. I hope you can't hear that on the microphone, but I guess we'll find out. So, these are the tenders that we've got to slay. Relatively harmless looking things. All these used to be aggressive, which means that when you hover over them they would come up with red text, and actually if I was this close to them they would be basically ripping me limb from limb right about now. And yes, unfortunately we have to kill them. They have an entertaining but slightly upsetting death animation. They're basically sentient plants, I guess. I believe there are some, if you've got the herbalism ability, you can actually loot their corpses for plant parts. I feel slightly bad doing this, actually. It's funny, when they're not being aggressive, which of course is the whole reason why we're meant to be killing them, is because they've turned aggressive, it really just feels like I'm being a bit of a dick. Again, you can hear that lovely music. So, Blood Elves weren't in the original World of Warcraft game. They were introduced with Burning Crusade, and I think they really did a good job with the limitations of the game at the time, creating a very different new area that was unlike the others that were currently accessible at the time. And despite the blocky graphics and the slightly dodgy looking trees, I do think it's actually weathered quite well. World of Warcraft, I think they did well by picking quite a cartoon-like style for their game. Has definitely helped it with the aging process. One game that I will do some streaming for at some point is the one that you can see on my channel header and my offline shutter, which is Elder Scrolls Online, which is a much more, I hesitate to say realistic, but a much more modern game. Also very beautiful, also has lovely music, and it's a very different kind of MMO. I'm actually very fond of Elder Scrolls Online. I drop in and out of it fairly often, and I sort of range between playing that and World of Warcraft at the moment. They're the two main games that I play. Boom. And I think atmospherics, music are highly important to games. They add so much. Even if you don't always notice them when you're playing, it can be quite significant.
I don't have a target.
Well, you kind of do have a target, it's just dead. So we'll agree to disagree on that one, I think, Maradiva. What have we got left? Yeah, we still need one of them, let's do that. Now, I do have to keep an eye on my health, which is slowly creeping down. I'm getting a bit blasé about the amount of damage I'm doing. If I can get this dude at range, then I should be okay. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, come on, one more. Perfect. Right, so now we've finished killing these guys, we've thinned their numbers, so they should be alright for a while, and Solanian has left more of his junk lying around here, and this time it is his scrying orb. So I'll just pick that up for him, and then we need his scroll of Scourge Magic, and we're going to go and visit the shrine that he talked about as well, because for some reason that will make him happy. And I am not one for denying my fellow elves happiness. Oh, hello Marava. Didn't see you there. I love how she gets a little bit narky if I click on her. So cute. So there's actually a story to why I started playing Blood Elves. Darathnu is my oldest character, but he's not my earliest character. Just the earliest one that survived. Hang on a second, this is Solanian's scroll. So before Darathnu I had a Night Elf on the Alliance side, and I was actually roped into playing World of Warcraft by a friend who wanted one of the Recruit a Friend bonuses, and I wasn't doing much else at the time, so they got me to sign up. And the idea that myself and this friend and one of our other friends would play World of Warcraft together as a threesome, and it didn't quite work out that way, so I'm just going to read this plaque and then I will carry on. Hang on. You've discovered the location of the shrine. Upon further examination you sense a strong pulse of the strange power that has gripped the isle. You feel a bit uncomfortable standing by the shrine, and perhaps a little disturbed. The bronze placard along the sign of the shrine reads, "Here stands the shrine of Dath Ramar, a fitting tribute to a noble elf. Let all who gaze upon this monument remember his sacrifices for our people and his dedication to the cause of our continued survival. All who prosper in Quel'Thalas do so thanks to him." I'm not going to lie, it might just be me, but I think that looks a little bit like a knob. Just take a quick screenshot of that. But yeah, that is something that I would feel uncomfortable standing next to any length of time. But there we go, we've now done all these quests, so we're going to head back and turn them in. And we should hopefully get our next level up. I'd be surprised if we didn't. So yes, the idea was that the three of us together would play this game and level up as a trio, and the other two that I was playing with had already played Warcraft a considerable amount and knew what they were doing, knew how to play the game. I hadn't played an MMO since City of Heroes. It was a completely different control set. I was slow. I wanted to do what I'm doing now, which is read all the quests. And actually, let's not hand that in first. Let's go up here and hand in these ones first. And they just blazed away ahead of me, and I ended up trapped in a burrow full of furbolgs. They kind of raced ahead of me and killed all these monsters. I then followed them into the burrow. They left, having completed their quest, and the monsters respawned, and I got trapped. And then they were sending me messages going, where are you, we've finished, we're ready to carry on. And I was saying to them, I'm still in the cave. And they were trying to give me directions to leave the cave. And of course I couldn't leave the cave because all these furbolgs were chasing me around, and the upshot is I rage quit the game and swore that I wouldn't play again. And then later that night I decided actually I'd quite like to give World of Warcraft a go, but play it by myself. And I admit I was actually too scared to tell my friends that I didn't want to play with them, that I wanted to play by myself. So instead of coming clean about that, I bought the Burning Crusade expansion, which I didn't have at the time, and made a Blood Elf. And I did that deliberately because I knew they were both playing Alliance, and I knew that at the time they didn't have the Burning Crusade expansions. So I believed that they wouldn't be able to find me. And I actually managed to play to level 17 or 18, I think, with Darathnu, before they realised I was still playing World of Warcraft. And since then I have remained very firmly on the Horde side, and Dareth became my longest surviving character, so that's how I ended up playing Blood Elves. And I still love them, and I still love this area. So anyway, let's give Solanian his stuff back.
The eternal sun guides us.
Have you had a chance to find my belongings? Once we reassert our dominance over Sunstrider Isle, I will need them in my work. For now, though, I must maintain my watch over the Sunwell, or what remains of it. Well, Solanian, this isn't the Sunwell. This is like a picnic table and some cats. I wonder if he's gone a little bit crazy after the fall of the Sunwell or something, and they just keep him up here where he can't do any harm. Anyway, I've got your stuff for you, Solanian. There you go. Well done. I knew you'd be perfect for the task. Once it's safe to make use of our outdoor facilities on the Isle, I will be putting these things to good use. Well, I've been running around outside for a while now, and it seems okay, but, you know, you do you. Like I mentioned, please feel free to keep the satchel. Also, you may find this piece of armour to be useful. Consider it ample compensation for a simple task performed dutifully. Ah, excellent. A pair of gloves. Boom! And it's automatically bumped onto the next quest here. So, the Shrine of the Giant Knob. Ah, Marideva, thank you for sharing your experience at the Shrine of Dath Ramar. Well, my experience, Solanian, is that I stood next to it and thought it looked a bit like a penis. So you're welcome to that insight. First off, you should be commended for your sense of duty and respect. It will serve you well, not only here, but in all of Azeroth as well. Yes, I was very respectful about the monument. As for the odd sensation, it is no doubt a contributing part of the taint that has befallen Sunstrider Isle. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I guess taint is something that you would find around a giant knob. Sorry, I'll try and be polite. We shall keep an eye on it. Thank you for alerting us to it. Yes, well, now that you're aware that your monument looks like certain genitalia, I will now leave.
The reckoning is at hand.
Okay. I feel a little bad about that now. Oh, hello, Marava. Do you want me to... Oh, is that what you're waiting for? Okay. On the plus side, we do now have some gloves to keep our pretty hands warm. Always useful. Let's see. Now this is interesting. So here we have trainers. These are another relic, essentially. So if I click on him... Your path does not match mine. You seek training elsewhere, Mage. Well, actually, I can't, because training no longer really exists in this game.
Your wits about you.
So if I come over here, there's the Paladin trainer, Priest trainer. Well, I can't even find the Mage trainer. They've gone missing somewhere. Oh, Mage, I ran straight past her. I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were a roll of carpet. Hello.
The dark times will pass.
Ah. Arcane momentum is a technique that allows a mage to use their physical momentum to dictate the direction of their blink spell, rather than the basic technique of blinking the direction you're facing. Are you sure you'd like to learn this new technique? I would, but I don't think I can, so...
Time is of the essence.
Oh. No, I can, I just don't have the blink spell yet. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, trainers, like I say, they were a relic from earlier in the game, where skill sets were huge lists of abilities, and every time you leveled up, you'd have to come to a trainer and pay to level up your various abilities. They have massively simplified this in World of Warcraft, and actually, in my personal opinion, and like I say, many people will think I'm wrong, they have improved the game hugely by doing that. Now instead your abilities, as you've seen, just appear on your taskbar. It used to be a whole list, and the huge number of skills meant that it was very easy to build a rotation that just didn't work. And it was a bit of a nightmare, to be perfectly honest, so I am glad that they did that. But they have left trainers in the game. They have, like this lady, Julia Sunstriker. They do have a small amount of purpose, but really they just mean that there are people in the game. Hello, Marava. And they keep the world populated, and also, like many MMOs, they don't take characters out very often. There's somebody else living up there. That's Telsath of the Horde. Oh look, we've got several people with chauffeurs. Well, we can leave them to their luxuries and we'll just run. Whoa! That was a bit loud. So, hello. Oh my god. That was interesting. It's like being attacked by the Hells Angels with pointed ears.
Baladash, Malanore.
Many of the creatures here on the Isle were at one point bound into non-aggression and complacency by our magical skills. When the Scourge destroyed the Sunwell... Hello. When the Scourge destroyed the Sunwell, our hold over these creatures shattered. Arcane slivers are the remnants of the control we once had, and as such might be usable in fashioning a new device to aid us in regaining their control. Better still, perhaps these slivers could be used to see what malaise the Isle is truly suffering under. So we give him the slivers. Splendid, these will do nicely. I've been doing quite a bit of thinking on the current malaise Sunstrider Isle suffers under. One possible course of action I had pondered was to collect these arcane slivers from the beasts on the Isle. In doing so, they could be experimented on. This would provide a potential source of culpability. Anyway, I will tend to the research. Allow me to place this incantation on you. I believe you'll make good use of it. And he's going to give us a cloak as well, which is nice of him.
The reckoning is at hand.
So for 30 minutes, we've got increased stamina and versatility. That's nice. And let's put the daylight cloak on. Ah, yes. Clashes beautifully with everything I'm wearing. So now we've done that, we're going to go back over here and hand in aggression. Marava, get your butt out my screen, please, dear. So yes, my long-term plan for this character is when we reach level 20, I'm going to use an item called the Vial of Sands, that instead of giving him a mount, will turn him into a dragon. And like I say, I used to roleplay this character as a dragon, and specifically at the time I belonged to a guild called the Sandstone Dragonflight. I don't even know if they still exist, to be honest. And the idea was that all the characters were dragons in their various disguises, bumming around the world doing what dragons do. So I'm going to carry on doing that, and by using the Vial of Sands, instead of mounting up and riding around like you've seen people doing behind me, I'm just going to turn into a dragon and run everywhere, which will be hilarious until I reach the level where I can actually fly. So for a while it will literally just be a dragon bumming around. And the Sandstone Drake is a type of bronze dragon. So like our little bronze friend here behind me. So we should be a matching pair, which will be nice. But first things first, we're only level 4.
Yes.
Hello again. While the deaths of the tenders give me no joy whatsoever, it does show me that you're ready for the most important task you'll do here on Sunstrider Isle. Take this and put it to good use. You'll need good items and sharp wits for the task ahead. A reassertion of control over the Isle depends on it. Right, and we've got a choice of stuff here, so we can have a dagger, a sword, or a staff. And I'm going to take the staff because we are a wizard, and wizards should have staffs. There we go, and now he's got another quest for us, okay. Felendrin the Banished. A betrayer of our people resides atop Falthrin Academy to the southwest. Felendrian is his name, and he was banished from Blood Elf lands for failing to heed the warnings of our teachings and elders. He is the worst of our society, as he lives only to feed his insatiable magical addictions. He refused to learn control. He is a shell of his former self, one of the wretched, and he is a threat to the Sunspire. Hello again. Destroy him and the race he uses as minions. So, basically, we're going to go and beat up a drug addict. Yeah, we're literally going to cut the head off somebody who's addicted to mana. Oh well, not a lot we can do, I guess. Actually, having seen that person riding around beside me reminds me, one of the things I need to do is check what title it's given me. So when you log in with a new character, you get randomly assigned a title from one of the titles that you have available. So I'm Elder Maradiva, apparently. So if you look at my title list, these are the various ones that I can have. The Camel Hoarder, that's an interesting one. I can be the Noble, the Patient, the Pilgrim, the Seeker. And these are only my account-wide titles. You earn separate titles in-game that only apply to characters that have fulfilled their prerequisites. And actually, you know what, Elder... And if we're playing this guy as a dragon, disguised as an elf, so I think Elder is quite appropriate. Durathnu, my main character, he's Crusader Durathnu, which again is a character-specific one. And Field Medic here, this one was a hard-won achievement. They've now taken the first aid skill out of World of Warcraft, and in order to get the Field Medic title, you had to do an awful lot of stuff with first aid, which I'd never done any first aid at all in the game when I found out they were taking this title out, and I decided it was a title I wanted. So in the space of about 3 days, I had to complete the entire quest chain and achievement chain to get the Field Medic title. And having done that, I don't actually have a character who will use it. So it was completely pointless. So yeah, we'll stick with Elder. That's a good choice for this character, I think. So off we go, off to this really quite beautiful building here. And I believe the guy that we have to murder is right up there at the top. So, and just thinking about it, you know, Hogwarts would have been very different if it had been run by Blood Elves, because the minute you fucked up and didn't do what you were told, they'd send some random adventurer out to murder you. But here we go. We can see someone's already been through here. There are lots of dead wraiths, so we're just going to run up to the top and sort of do this in reverse order, I guess. I love the architecture here. It's very beautiful. And I think this is one of the reasons why I keep coming back to World of Warcraft. I find it a very relaxing game to play. It's also one of the reasons why I'm not in a top-end raiding guild or anything like that. I play this game to relax and have fun, and for me personally, playing like this, playing by myself, which is weird in an MMO to be a solitary gamer, I just find it more fun, to be perfectly honest. I think also it takes the pressure off if you're not worried about living up to the expectations of a guild, trying to get your equipment up to the top level, trying to maximise your damage per second. That stuff, I certainly don't mind people that play that way, and I have had fun doing it in the past in other games. In Rift I was actually the off-tank for the guild that I played with and did a lot of proper raiding. But in World of Warcraft, that's not for me. It's not what I find fun. I think I can actually hear somebody fighting up here. Whoop! And that's what I get for trying to check the chat channel on my phone while going up a ramp. Good job I didn't fall the other way and die. That would have been embarrassing. Ah well, lesson learned. And again, this is presumably why they don't let people under level 20 ride mounts, because then you'd just be riding a horse off a cliff. Ah yes, and they have actually killed the guy that we need to kill, so in true MMO fashion, we're just going to sit here and wait for him to get up again. And hello if you've joined recently. I'm Guide of Misguidance, and we are playing World of Warcraft. Right, while we wait for him to respawn, let's just take a look at that. Look at that, that's Silvermoon City over there in the distance. And I think one of the things I really love in this game is, many of you will be aware, the connections that World of Warcraft has to Games Workshop's IP, Warhammer. And in Warhammer there's a lot of white and blue for the High Elves, and the Blood Elves, of course, being a sub-faction of High Elves. Yes, texting while driving. I know, it's terrible behaviour, I really shouldn't have done that. It was really quite something for me to see elves that were in many ways very familiar with such a simple but different colour scheme, all this beautiful gold and red and white. And it suits them, it works very well. So right, here we have Felendrin the Banished, and again, he used to be an aggressive monster. He would run up and kill you rather than look at you. And there he is, just minding his own business, and we're going to blow him up.
Take heart. Your friends will not long mourn your passing.
To be honest, I'm not sure whether this guy has many friends, so you might well be right. But you know what? Might as well actually use my racial ability on him. As a hunter, this would be fine, because he'd be taking on my pets, but as it is, at the moment, it looks like my pet's on his side. So thank you for that, Mariva. Being stunningly loyal there, my little whelpling. And we've just hacked his head off. And now we're going to run back again. Thank you, incidentally, if you have been watching this since the start of the stream. Like I said, this is my first time streaming. I'm still getting to grips with it, and it's been more effort than I expected it to be to talk and game. Thanks for that. That was well, to be honest, that was a little bit trollish, but never mind. I'm going to kill this one instead. It's nice to see people still in the starting area, actually. When I first made Durathnu, Blood Elves and Draenei, in fact, were the new in thing, and the starting areas were absolutely swamped. But I'm pleased to say that at least here on Argent Dawn, the starting areas usually have a fair number of people in them. And like I say, it's nice. It's nice to know that people are still enjoying this game and still playing it. It's certainly not in decline. It's not as popular as it was in its heyday, but... oh, thank you. So April Mana here says, you're sounding good for a first day. And I appreciate that. I'm always worried I sound a bit like an idiot. I need to find some of these tainted arcane wraiths. I'm a little bit worried that people have come through and murdered them all and I'm not going to find any. Are those ones tainted? No, those are not ones. It's really tempting to try and jump down under this glaring crystal, but I'm actually not going to do that because once I'm down there it's going to be hard for me to get back up again. Let's see if any of them have spawned up here. We may actually have to kill Felendron again if there are some up here and we trigger him by accident. There's one! Okay, boom. That's okay. I always thought it must be weird in MMOs for respawning monsters like that to wake up from whatever stupor they've been in and find themselves standing next to their own corpses. Ooh, tainted arcane sliver. That's an item that gives us a quest. You found an odd sliver of crystallized mana on the corpse of the tainted arcane wraith. This sliver is different than others you may have seen, in that it is as dark and sinister looking as the wraith you looted it from. Now, bearing in mind that that wraith was actually bright green. Sinister, yes, but not very dark. Just holding it gives you a sense of unnatural foreboding. Arcanist Hellion at the gazebo of the Sunspire on Sunstrider Isle might be someone who would have a use for this sliver. I think he was the guy that we gave the other slivers to, so we will take that quest, and then we're going to kill this one and go and give that to him. And I dread to think what he's going to do with it. Probably stick it up his nose or something. It's hard to say with Blood Elves. Of course, this would go faster if I would equip the low-level mount that I'm actually able to use. But part of what I'm doing here, if I'm perfectly honest, is reliving the experience of levelling up a character. And it's something we'll be able to do over the next couple of weeks. My plan at the moment is I'm going to run these streams 3 afternoons a week. Not more than that, but mainly because around that I'm doing other things like searching for a job, and if I'm doing these streams too much, obviously that will take all my time away from doing more important stuff, and also other, household stuff like washing up and cooking, generally being a functional human being. And while I have been through periods of my life playing World of Warcraft where I've not been a functional human being, I'm not looking to relive those. I'm only looking to relive the levelling experience. So yes, we'll be doing this 3 afternoons a week between about 1 and 4 UK time, which will be 2 and 5 realm time. And if you do want to come and join me in game and see what I'm doing firsthand, I'm on the Argent Dawn server in the EU. Right, so here's Lanthan. Do we need to give him a severed head?
We will persevere.
Heed well this warning. Felendron the Banished is only a symptom of a much larger problem. His demise will solve our immediate concerns, but all Blood Elves share the potential same fate as him if we let our addictions get the best of us. Here, have a head. Felandron's head. Yes, that is Felandron's head. You are to be commended, Maradiva. Not sure why. I mean, he wasn't really doing anything up there. You've succeeded where others, like Felendron, have utterly failed. Perhaps you are truly ready to be a contributing member of Blood Elf society. Yeah, we'll see. Your success here means that you are capable of surviving the greater threats that lurk in Eversong, and believe me, there are plenty to face. Boom! Ooh, I got a new power. What's that? That's Frost Nova. Blast enemies within 12 yards of you for 1 frost damage and freezes them in place for 8 seconds. Wow. Well, okay, I mean, it sounds a bit crap, but it might be useful. Aiding the Outrunners. Magistrix Arona wanted you to head over to Silvermean City in order to aid our reclamation efforts there. That is, once you had successfully addressed the situation at Falthrian Academy. You did not disappoint us, Maradiva. On your way to Falconwing Square, south of here, you should speak with Outrunner Alarian. She's not far from the bridge. And again, you can see them giving us directions back when we actually really needed those, otherwise we'd just walk around in circles. The Outrunners take care of shuttling goods between here and the mainland, and since you've proven to be so resourceful, they could use your assistance.
Hold your head high.
I will do that thing. But first, I'm going to go... Mariva, honestly, girl. Oh, you're just going to... Fine, we'll zoom out a little bit then. First, we are going to visit Hellion at the gazebo. It's a very nice gazebo. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you can really see the age of this game when you see the flat sections that these trees are made of. They look a bit like cardboard flat packs, really. Just very nicely decorated ones. And there's so many cats here, which I guess kind of makes sense. I mean, I can imagine elves getting on well with cats. Ah, here's Hellion.
Glory to the Sindori.
Indeed. From your demeanour, you seem to be on a matter of some urgency. Is there something specific I can assist you with? Yes, please take this bit of dead thing. This is most interesting. And when I say interesting, I mean more disturbing than anything else. Is it the sliver that's disturbing you, or the fact that I just handed you part of a dead creature? Our efforts to reassert control over the Isle in the time following the destruction of the Sunwell have been a challenge. I suspect that whatever foul sorcery is corrupting the Isle is at the heart of it all. This sliver may be of some aid in uncovering what is really going on. You were wise to bring this to me. That's a relief. Take this as compensation for your diligence. Thank you.
Time is of the essence.
It is indeed. Right, so I think that's actually everything we've got going on up here. So we've got to go down here and speak to the Outrunners. So you can see this is the academy where we were before. There's the the shrine, and here we are at the Sunspire. So I haven't got any equipment. It's all leather, isn't it? Oh, those are cloth. No. They're basically the same. Right, so let's just sell the junk that we've got here.
I have one-of-a-kind items.
Oh yeah, I got a stick and then I never equipped
Keep
it.
your wits about you.
That was silly of me. Right, well. Oh. The other stick's shinier.
Your gold is welcome here.
Never mind, we need all the cash we can get.
The reckoning is at hand.
That's another thing that's actually changed in World of Warcraft, is it used to be that gaining money was actually quite difficult. Now it's incredibly easy, and if nothing else I've got higher level characters that could do the wargaming version of the Bank of Mum and Dad for this character and just send him some money. Salad egg. Well, let's be friendly. And you can see there she's putting on her heirloom items to help her level up faster. So yeah, I mean, I could just send a load of cash to this character and buy him anything he wants, but we're recreating that authentic experience, so no Bank of Mum and Dad, or in this case Bank of Dorathnu for Maradiva. So yeah, we've got a fair amount of money for a starting character. We've already got 10 silver. I remember being quite excited when I got my first gold piece, but the lowest level mounts in the game that you can get with starting characters cost something like 2.5 gold, which was a huge amount of money. I actually went on a killing spree, killing the local wildlife and selling stuff just to be able to afford one. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore, because now mounts are account wide, and once you have a mount you can come into this screen here and they're all read out because obviously the character's too young to use them. And here's Cedric, my white drake, and you can see all the lovely mounts that I have got here. Some of them are rarer than others. I do have a couple of rare mounts. I've got a couple of ones that I bought from the store, like this one. Actually, where's my rarest of them so far? Here we go. This is the Ashes of Alar, which is perfect for a Blood Elf, because you get it from killing the Blood Elf Prince. And I spent an awful long time looking for this mount. Very pleased to get it. It's one of my favourites. But anyway, that's beside the point. The one that we will actually be using... where is it? Actually, no. Oh, hang on. Here we go, Sandstone Drake. So this is what my my roleplay dragon will actually look like when he's in dragon form. And purely so I don't have to come back in and find it later, I'm going to pop that on there. But we won't be able to use that until I'm level 20, at least. So there we go. So now we're just going to have a nice meander through the countryside here. Actually, you know what? We're not going to be doing anything, so let's have a look around. And again, this is something. Ooh, pardon me for stuttering. This is something that World of Warcraft, in my opinion, does very well. You get a real sense of space in this game, so not every corner is filled and bustling. Instead, you have these vistas and views that just give you a sense of being in a real world. I mean, it's tiny compared to the actual reality. There are lots of corners, so there's a little area up here where you can climb up the mountains. Well, it's not even a mountain, it's more like a hillock, and just look around. And there's no purpose for this, other than the fact that it looks nice and it adds a little bit of flavour. And sometimes you will find role players up in corners like this. Sometimes alone, sometimes together, sometimes doing things that, you know, you probably don't want to hang around and watch. And Silvermoon City as well, you get a lot of role players around there, and we'll probably go and say hello to a couple of them when we get there. And here we have it. This is our first sort of real approach. You can see here as well the overgrown parts of the scenery. A lot of damage was done here when the Sunwell exploded, and the idea is that we're really just starting to put the city back together after losing the Sunwell. And here we have Dawning Lane and Outrunner Alarian. Now this music that's playing here, this is the Silvermoon theme. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That doesn't happen very often. So we've been disconnected, but it'll be easy enough to log back in. I was hoping at least to get to Falconwing Square, which is just outside Silvermoon, so let's pop back in. Oh, here he is. You can see him full screen now. Very dashing looking fellow. And those yellow eyes really do make a difference. If we compare him here to... Dareth's a bad example, he's only got one eye. Let's look at Asher here with her green eyes. It gives the face, I think, quite a different look to have that yellow glow. His broken stick. Right, let's get back to it then. And hello and welcome if you've just joined us. I'm Guide of Misguidance, and we are playing World of Warcraft, where we are levelling up a mage. And to you. So, Outrunner Alarian. Well, hello there, mage. I heard that a resourceful young blood elf, formerly in the service of Magistrix Arona, might be making their way down here to help us Outrunners out. We certainly welcome the help, especially from somebody who's proven to be so competent. More fool you, my dear. I hope you're interested in running an errand or two for us. Sure, why not? It's hard work being an outrunner between Sunstrider Isle and Falconwing Square. Tight deadlines, long hours, and worst of all, the wretched. The road south goes through the ruins of Silvermoon. The place is crawling with wretched, ready to kill you for a few mana crystals. I love this music, sorry. Unfortunately, I think that's what happened to the last Outrunner we sent with one of Arona's packages. I see you're eager to prove yourself. Venture into Dawning Lane and see if you can find any traces of the Outrunner. Okay, I actually remember this quest, and the Outrunner we're looking for is something like 100 yards ahead of us here. She's really not very far away. If I'm right, she's literally just up through this gate. Oh, love it. Look at that. Yeah, there she is. Or possibly he, I can't tell at this distance. Whee! And this is the outer ruins of Silvermoon here. The Outrunner's belongings have all been stolen, with the exception of one package. It seems to match Alarian's description of Arona's package. You take the package and confirm that indeed it came from Magistrix Arona. Alarian would probably want you to bring it to her. So having come all this way, we're going to turn around and go all the way back again. Amazingly, I actually got lost doing this with Dareth. I got sidetracked somewhere around here and ended up going off in kind of this direction into the woods for a while and then got very confused by it. But I did warn you all that I have truly terrible direction sense. Here we go. What did you find, Merediva? Well, I found this package. Would you like to see it? By the Sunwell! That's the third Outrunner we've lost this month. I appreciate your courage in venturing into Dawning Street. I didn't go very far into Dawning Street, to be fair. The guards need to keep a closer eye on these blasted wretched. The death of another Outrunner is a true tragedy, but it's a risk we all accept when we take the job. Magistrix Arona at the Sunspire needs to get this package to the inn at Falconring Square, and she needs it there as soon as possible. We're short-handed and I don't have anyone else available that can cover for us. I'm not going to lie to you, the path to Falconring Square can be extremely dangerous if you leave the safety of Dawning Lane. Didn't you just say Dawning Lane was dangerous? Oh well. Do you feel up to the task, Merediva? Why not? I'll give it a go.
We will have justice.
Yes, we will. Actually, what we will have is Nightborn, but, you know, the main justice is that the Alliance still can't play Blood Elves, so, you know, haha. So we're probably going to carry on with this for another 40 minutes or so. Then I have to go off and, in true British fashion, have a cup of tea. And then we'll pick up wherever we leave off. But yes, this is the outer ruins of Silvermoon. And again, this, when I first played World of Warcraft and I was hiding out from my friends, walking through into this area was quite something for me. It was just such a huge space and really gave a feeling that there used to be a city here and used to be people living here. Silvermoon itself is actually over in sort of the direction I'm facing over this way, and like many MMO cities is actually very, very small, but once you kind of get into the game and you start getting into the mindset of what's going on, you kind of forget that. I love the flowers here, I love the topiary bushes, and the music when it comes around is truly stunning. And all these buildings as well, you can go into and you can climb up. You can see there's a balcony over there, and in a while we might go over there and take a look inside just to see what's around, because why not? It doesn't hurt. We're not in any rush with this. But first, we're going to be good delivery people, good delivery elves. And there's a nice statue there. We're going to go and deliver this package, because frankly they're going to give us money and food for it, so yeah, it's worth doing. Oh look, a guard. Now the guards are quite interesting here because they actually they have a face and model which is unique to them. They're not actually the same models as the player character ones. And I might be wrong here, but I vaguely recall somebody telling me that they were the original Blood Elf models, and that the Blood Elves actually got made a little bit, at least the Blood Elf men, got made a little bit beefier because people were complaining that they were too skinny. And I don't know how true that is, but it actually wouldn't surprise me, and it's quite an entertaining idea. So, hang on just a second. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, just had to move some stuff around on the desk for a moment there. This is another thing I love. Oh, hello, who's that? That's Telsath, and that's that hunter again. I love the floating plants. Again, it's a little thing, just adds a lot of character. So welcome to Falconwing Square. Let's go hand this package in. Hang on. Let's be polite. And then I'm going to miss the tavern. And that we come from this lovely, bright sort of summer sunlight into this beautiful, cool tavern. Nice and dark and dim, just the place you want to be if you want to tap some mana crystals and lie around on a chaise lounge for a bit, I think.
Your gold is welcome here.
Welcome to my inn, Mage. Am I to understand that you have something for me? I do indeed. I have a package for you. Thank you. I do appreciate the prompt delivery. While you're here, please make yourself comfortable. If you haven't done so already, feel free to get a hearthstone and bind yourself here. Using a hearthstone will allow you to recall to an inn once every half hour. If you ever lose your hearthstone, simply return to any inn, and innkeeper will gladly get you a new one. And this is a pretty basic mechanic of World of Warcraft, is you can use hearthstones to return yourself to safe areas like this one. You can only have one at a time though, so you can't get, well, at least I think you can only have one at a time, so I don't think you can bind yourself to half a dozen places. That would be cool, but they haven't brought that in. And what do I want? Refreshing spring water or shiny? Well, you know what? I like red apples, so I'm going to get those. I'm going to put them on there for when things have bitten me in the face. So we've got a general goods merchant over there, but I don't have anything to sell.
What do you seek?
And we are actually going to... I'm going to click on make this in your home.
Salama Ashalanore.
And she's going to set our hearthstone here, so when we finish doing stuff we can port back here whenever we want. And now we've got some exclamation points showing up, but the first most important thing is we're going to go and speak to Skiles. He's the Sky Master. And then we can click on here, and he can actually fly us into Silvermoon City if you wanted to bypass this next bit and just go straight to Silvermoon. He could pop us.
To all who oppose us.
He's having a bit of an angry day, but he could pop us on a Dragon Hawk and just send us over that way. Most of the Horde side flight paths use Wyverns. Now, a point of contention here, those Wyverns are actually Manticores, but for some reason Blizzard have called them Wyverns, or Wyverns. I always say Wyvern because it amuses me. But here we use Dragon Hawks because we are elves, and we're just, you know, we're just better than everyone else, to be honest. Right, when that guy's finished doing stunts on his motorbike, we're going to talk to Magister Geronis. Jaranus, maybe?
What business have you?
Oh, Iolith, a rogue. Hello. The arcane patrollers crafted by our forefathers to protect the city have fallen into a dangerous state of disrepair. They fail to recognise us as their masters and will attack us on sight. Even though they were created many years ago, the arcane cores that power them are still quite useful and valuable to us. I want you to gather these cores and bring them to me so I can put them to good use again. You'll find the patrollers in the ruined section of Silvermoon to the northwest. And again, there he is telling us which direction to go in. Oh, we're going to get a new dress. Lovely.
Shorel Aran.
So we'll go and do that, and we'll get some new clothes. And, yes, there's a notice board over here. So again, this is a new feature, this highlight that's showing up on this. Also, there's a man trapped in that wall, but we're going to ignore that. Wanted, Thelis the Hungerer. The city of Silvermoon hereby issues a reward for the head of Thelis the Hungerer, notorious wretched ringleader. He is wanted for repeated crimes against the general populace of Silvermoon City, including the murder of 2 city guards. Okay, I'm going to apologise now. I don't know if you can hear that. That's actually an ice cream truck going past outside my house. And I can hear it quite clearly on my headphones, so I suspect that the microphone will have picked that up. Alright, here we go. Report to Sergeant Cameron to collect the reward. So, right, we're going to go and lop the head off another drug addict as well. And Eldon Sunbrand here. He's a good-looking fellow. He's also got a quest for us.
State your business.
A group of wretched recently raided a supply of unstable mana crystals from one of our arcane sanctums. If not handled properly, the crystals could explode with enough force to blow a hole into the city walls. Well, that would suck. Yes, ice cream. Now, Maradiva, I don't quite care if they blow themselves up while tapping unstable arcane sources, but the whole incident would make my men look very bad. Well, yes, if they survived. Bring me back any remaining stolen crystals you find. They might still be inside their original crates.
We will have justice.
Right, so what have we got to do then? We've got to go and kill some robots, cut the head off a drug addict, and collect some boxes. So pretty fairly standard run of tasks for a low-level character in an MMO, I think. And you can see here, there's a highlighted crate showing up. Now the reason I'm going this way, the guy we want to kill is actually in that big building over there beyond the statue. I actually just want to go and poke around in some of these buildings, to be honest. It's been a long time since I've come to this area, even with my higher level characters, so... there's an arcane patroller. So now that is a red creature. I'm going to turn off the nameplates. Now he will attack me if I get too close to him, so I'm going to beat him to it. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, I see, so I can just stop him. Oh crap, there's another one. And this is what I mean about chaining, so I got too close to one and set off another. These are level 6, so they actually have the potential to do quite a bit of damage. As you can see, this has taken quite a chunk of my health off, so I'm actually going to have to be a bit more careful. Well, that's interesting. It seems to have reset all my options. Let's go back to interface. We're going to put auto loop back on. And get rid of that again. Don't know why it did that. That's interesting. I obviously pressed a button without meaning to. Now there's another red creature, so we're gonna see if we can just set fire to him. Having set fire to him, we're gonna freeze him. So I'm noticing quite a difference between mages and hunters, which I guess isn't that surprising. Hunters kill a lot quicker than mages do. This is taking time that I don't remember it taking with a hunter.
I need to target something first.
Yeah, alright. I actually was going to go up there, but I don't think there's an awful lot up there, so we're going to sneak down here, see if we can get into this building that's ahead of me. murder this dude. So if we take a look at this guy, you can see that one of the key symptoms of mana addiction in Blood Elves is massive hair loss. Also, apparently, the inability to put on pants. So there we are, we're just going to leave him there. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, there is one in there. Oh, there's two in here, okay. Oh, I'm trying to target my dragon. That was stupid of me. Well, I balls that up nicely. I'm going to have to be a bit careful. This guy's going to kill me. Oh, there's the ice cream man again. Crap. Didn't quite mean for there to be somebody up here. Yep, he's going to kill me. Oh, there we go. Oh, right in the wall. Okay. This is another thing that I was not prepared for when I started playing World of Warcraft, is when you die, you turn into a ghost. And now, where are we on the map? Yes, we're actually right outside of the ruined area of Silvermoon here. Oh, okay. I'm honestly not sure why it keeps doing this. I'll look into it before the next stream, see if we can work out what's going on. But then actually, this is kind of cool. Because Maradiva's dead, we get to see him as a ghost on the login screen. So probably going to be playing for another half an hour or so. But yeah, we're back out here at, I think this is Dawning Row it's called. Oh no, I was on the other side, I was just outside Falconwing. And we've got to go and run back to my corpse. Because, you know, death and all that, it's only a temporary state. And it is an interesting thing when you think about a lot of the storylines in MMOs. Actually, death is not permanent. But one thing you can see here, though, is look at that shadow coming down through the trees. It's very nice, given the age of the game. They've done it incredibly well. So, yeah, let's resurrect here. Get Marava back. Oh, and because I've relogged, it's reset my options again for some reason, so I'll get rid of nameplates. There we go. Oh, why is it doing that? So, I'm sure it's in there. Nope, this is graphics. Okay, I'm in completely the wrong place now. Interface, that's what I want. So I want Autoloop on. I want to get rid of that. Okay, return to game. Hopefully it will actually remember it this time. So yeah, what did we come in here for? We came in here just to look around up here, really. Occasionally, particularly in low-level areas, you'll get chests that you can loot out in the wild. We might get lucky and find one. But mainly it's all just flavour, really. Having these places that you can go to, and these corners that you can hang around in. Oh, there's a rabbit over there. Really? Fine, let's just set fire to him. Oh, I've got a hunting rifle. Now this is, that icon there, the green icon, means that I can tame that if I wanted to by going into the pet battle options. But I'm not much of a Pokemon player, so that doesn't hold too much of an appeal for me, so... also, I've already got one. So instead we're just going to beat up this Arcane Protector. And we got one of the Arcane Cores that we need. You can see on our map there where it's highlighting the areas where we're more likely to find what we need. I don't think freezing him really does much difference. He's still going to beat me up, isn't he? But yeah, the building I really want to poke around in is this one, because that one's got a proper top floor, so probably, yeah, let's get him.
I don't have a target.
Nice. So that's how it's meant to go when you're doing this properly, and not when you're faffing around like I am. So here we are in the middle section of the building. Let's have a crack at that dude over there. You can actually see here on the side of my screen they're starting to talk, and you can see where it's...
I need to target something first.
Sorry. You can see it's coming up and saying they're speaking Thalassian, which is the Elven language. And it always used to be that you can speak your common faction language, or you can speak your racial language. And now there are actually alliance races that speak Thalassian. There's the Void Elves, and there are Horde races that speak the Night Elf language. So for the first time, really, and Pandas as well, actually, Pandarin can share a language between factions. So it's relatively new to World of Warcraft that you can communicate cross-faction like that. Right, we're just going to murder these guys, and I just want to look around in here, really. See what's going on.
I need a target.
Yes, I know. So you can see here the burned carpet, the scattered items, the sort of ruined city where all the elves used to live. So we've definitely murdered enough of these guys. We just need some more crates. You can see a couple down there. We'll go and destroy those robots as well, I think. And here we are up top. There's Silvermoon over that way. These lovely statues standing around everywhere. Now, one thing Warcraft has not done, which a lot of other MMOs have done, is implement player housing, which we've got some things in this later on in the game which are similar to player housing, but not quite. And one thing I would really like as a player is the ability to actually have a house somewhere here and start feeling like we're actually repopulating and rebuilding Silvermoon. And particularly now that, spoilers for the latest expansion, but we've set fire to the Night Elf home, player housing would be... I think it would be a good time to implement it. Give people a sense that they're rebuilding the future again, really, for the game. So, ooh! I wasn't even looking at my XP bar. That's good, so we've leveled up. So we're now level 6. So we're doing pretty well, actually, given that I'm not rushing through this. We're still making fairly good time. Crack at that one. I've got to be a bit careful here that these mobs don't start interacting with each other and coming after me if I aggro them.
I need a target.
Do you love that? I read this this item as an Infinity Gauntlet, but no, they're just infantry gauntlets. That's a relief. You wouldn't want low-level characters having an Infinity Gauntlet, that'd be bad. So here we are. Can I get this crate without alerting that guy? Whee! Right, I'm going to sneak away from there. Kill that. We're doing well here. So the only thing we have to do after this is go and cut the head off a mana addict. So, what happened to the Blood Elves is when the Sunwell was destroyed, which I think happened in Warcraft 3, they tried to restart it using corrupted Fel energy. And as a result, all the Blood Elves that were affected, who lived in this area, became addicted to mana energy and corrupted by the Fel energy itself. So these guys here, these wretched, sorry about that, I was just taking a quick look around, they are Blood Elves who've basically gone too far down the line, and they are no longer redeemable. They're just wandering around looking for their next mana fix. And because of that, they've become quite dangerous. They will attack people, and in a much later part of the game, actually, we see a group of similarly affected elves, actually Nightborn elves, who are so addicted to mana that they've started attacking and killing dragons to suck the mana out of them, which isn't much fun at all for anybody, really, but particularly not for the poor dragons. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm just doing that. I'm trying to freeze that guy on the left so that they can't double team me. Although they're going to try. You do have a target. Look, he's right there. That's another thing you'll see occasionally. You see the Frostbolt bar hiccuping a little bit, and that's because it's hard to concentrate when somebody's hitting you in the face. Right, so we've done that, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get back up onto the road, which is slightly safer, and rather than fighting my way out of this area, we are going to run back safely and hand in these quests. So we're doing good. I should also give my health bar a chance to regenerate. Let's just enjoy the music for a moment. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just take a quick screenshot. I'm a terrible one for taking screenshots. I've got folders full of screenshots from the various games I play. So here we are. Let's go to talk to Geronis first. I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure there's a version of this where you can see people's stomachs through the robes, but apparently not Geronis. He's being nice and modest.
Victory lies ahead.
You've done well, Maradiva. With our arcane sanctums not operating at full capacity, these power cores will go a long way in supplementing our needs. Why, thank you. Oh, it's got another one. I'm pleased to discover that you're at least somewhat competent, Maradiva. I'll give you another task since you seem so eager to prove yourself. I mean, to be honest, mate, I just want money. I'm not going to lie about that. That's what everyone wants in life, really. This is a letter to Laykeeper Cadenus, I think. Yeah, Cadenus. The Arcanist in charge of the upkeep of the North Sanctum. Go southwest of Falconwing Square and you will find him. He is a very important person, so I hope you don't bother him too much with trivial chatter. We'll see.
We will have justice.
Yes, we will. And now we're going to this guy who's well, that's a horrible noise. So they're basically torturing this mana addict. I'm going to interrupt them to give him a head. You have something to show me? Yes, I do. It's a head. Here you go. That scoundrel, Thalis, finally met his fate. Good job, Maradiva. Things should be quiet with the wretched for a while. We'll see.
We will have justice.
Yes, we will. Right, and then this guy here we've got a quest for as well.
Glory to the Sindora.
Did you retrieve the stolen goods yet? Yes, I did. Excellent work. You see, he's nice and straight to the point. I like that. Ah, Darnassian intrusions, eh? Besides the constant threat that the Wretched represent, I also have to deal with all kinds of fictitious reports of night elf sightings. Though most reports are unfounded, one recent incident demands further investigation. The West Sanctum, one of our primary energy sources, has suffered a terrible malfunction and rumours of Darnassian sabotage are rampant. Oh, it's locked me out again. Okay, I really am going to have to look into this. I don't know why it's doing it. The PC's absolutely fine, so I don't know. Maybe my internet's not enjoying my streaming. Okay, well we're only planning on doing this for sort of another 15 minutes or so, so with any luck it'll hold up for that. Sorry about this. Not quite how I wanted it to go for a first stream. Right, where were we? Ah. The West Sanctum, one of our primary energy sources, has suffered a terrible malfunction and rumours of Darnassian sabotage are rampant. Travel there and deal with anyone that looks suspicious. Report back to Lay Keeper Valania, who watches over the Sanctum. Okay, well, I can do that. First of all, though, I'm going to go into my settings and see if it's messed up my settings again. So, auto loop, put that back on, and then display, action bars, names. Don't want that. Okay, return to game. I wonder if that's resetting because the game is kicking me rather than me logging out. That guy's still trapped in the wall. What have we got in here? Ah yes, before we go any further, can't use guns, got that, but we've got a light silk robe. Now see, this is interesting. So it's got better durability, and the same amount of armour, so let's see if we like the look of it. What do we reckon? Yeah, why not? It goes with my cloak better at any rate. I mean, the apprentice's robe goes better with the purple stick, but... Or... Actually, no, let's stick to the purple. It's a bit more fancy, isn't it? So I'm going to get stuck on a chair for a second, and I'm going to sell my unneeded stuff to this guy, because there's really no point in keeping it. Release the energy stored within the power core, increasing spell power by 9/30. You know, that's not useless, but I'd rather have the money.
Remember the Sunwell.
I can't forget it, you keep shouting about it. Is there a mage trader here? Don't think there is. There's a weapon merchant, but again, I don't really want to waste my money. Ugh, that went right down my ear. Now, one interesting thing here is there's actually a cheese vendor over in this corner, and true to her name, she sells cheese. Check it out.
The eternal sun guides us.
I am not high enough level to eat some of this cheese, which makes me a little bit worried about what might be in it. So yeah, let's not have some cheese. Come on, Mariva. Let's quickly check our map. So we're in the ruins of Silvermoon. The main part of Silvermoon's over here, and we are going to deliver some stuff to the North Sanctum. So we're going to come through these gates, and once we're through these gates, we're out of the training part of the starting area, and we're into the main part of the starting area. So from this point onwards, you're kind of supposed to have an idea of what the game's about and what you're meant to be doing. And here we have these beautiful twisty trees with their flat pack leaves. So we're going to trot over here. And now here's a Dragonhawk. Dragonhawks have a special place in my heart. They are the Blood Elf starting pet when you're a hunter. Oh, Speaking of which, there's a paladin. Yeah, why not? May as well. I'm not very good at PvP, but it will make his day, so... I'm really not good at this. And he's actually healing as well, so for some reason I put nameplates back on. Yeah, there's really not a challenge here. And there we go. So he's earned an achievement, and we've done that. So hello, Fenoris. If you ever end up watching this, thank you for the duel. I sucked, but that's okay. And that's something you get a lot of in these low-level areas, is people will duel you. And now I've got here Honourable Medallion. And so that's, when you're in PvP, that helps you. So I'm going to put that up here. So here we come to the Northern Sanctum, and we've got a dwarf. A dwarf. What's a dwarf doing here? Having a chat with Laykeeper. Did we decide he was called Kadanis? I'm going to call him Kadanis. I'm going to go interrupt. He's wearing the same outfit as me. That is shocking.
The dark times will pass.
Thank you, Maradiva. I've been expecting this letter. Since you're here, Maradiva, I've a favour to ask you. Laykeeper Valanis' apprentice dropped by earlier to ask for assistance. Apparently there's some malfunction happening at the West Sanctum. I've been a bit busy entertaining our most pleasant dwarven guest. See if you can give her a hand. You'll find the West Sanctum southwest of here. Well, that makes sense. So in chat we've got Meanie Paladin. Nah, he's not mean, he's just a paladin, he thinks he's always right. And I don't mind losing duels, to be honest. I've kind of made peace with the fact that I'm just not very good at this game, so let's go to the West Sanctum. Look at these Dragonhawks. And again, when I first started playing this game, Dragonhawks kind of blew my mind, because they weren't like anything I'd seen in other games before. They're very unique. And again, some of these were actually violent when I first started playing this game. I've noticed there's a quest here, and this is one of my favourite in the Blood Elf starting area. I remember this. You there, you must help me, please. A fellow apprentice and I were attacked by the wretched. In their mad hunger for magic, they took everything they could get their hands on. Mana crystals, wands, spellbooks, everything. Melidor gave chase after them. I had to stay behind and look after what they didn't take. Continue down the road and see if you can lend him a hand. So that's fair. I mean, these people have been essentially mugged.
Stay the course.
So we're going to give them a hand. I've already been sidetracked. So I was meant to be going somewhere else, but this won't take long and it's quite good fun. I think it'll be a fun thing to end on, so... We come down here, here's Melidor. Here's nice shiny apprentice robes. Quite glad I didn't put on the apprentice robes now, actually.
Our enemies will fall.
They're gone now, scared the breeches out of them with a well-placed fireball. Good man, that is what fireball is for. Unfortunately for me, they threw our precious cargo in the river. Those blasted wretched sure can run fast at the sight of someone who'll stand up to them. But let's not worry about that now. I need to find my instructions' elemental grimoire. I'm certain I saw one of those cowards throw it into the river, but I cannot seem to be able to locate it. I could use another set of eyes. I'll throw in a bit of coin if you spot it.
Farewell.
Now, I've just accepted this quest, and it's just appeared in the water over there, you can see. Again, this is something that's relatively new, that highlighted items pop up like this. And when Dareth did this quest many, many years ago, he spent quite a long time swimming around in the water looking for it, so let's pop under here. I'm quite glad that Marova there isn't too bothered by water. You'd think flying underwater would be a chore, but apparently not. And here we have an elemental grimoire. Ooh, oh, no, I'm under the bridge, okay. Wondered where I was then for a second.
Anaria Shola.
No luck? Well, keep looking. The book is of utmost importance. Actually, I've got it. We're good. The book is completely soaked. Instructor Anthiol's not going to like this at all. Here, take this money. I have an idea. Anthiol is going to fly off his rocker when he finds out his book is ruined. I've got a little proposal for you. Don't worry, I'll make it worth your while. Take this book to him and tell him nothing of this incident. If he asks, just tell him you dropped the book in a puddle. He has no direct authority over you, so there's not much he can do. Anthiol delivers his lectures at Still Whisper Pond, southeast of Silvermoon. You'll do this for us, right? I'll reward you handsomely for this favour. So yeah, this guy wants us to lie for him, but
The reckoning is at hand.
oh, my friend, it will be for you. But yeah, you know, he's going to pay me for it, so I'll take the fall, I guess. The question now is, do we do that, or we go to the West Sanctum? Well, let's do this first. It does mean heading across the Scar. So it's a bit of a walk, but the scenery is nice, so let's get rid of my heads-up display for a moment and have a gentle wander. Now, generally speaking in World of Warcraft, if you stick to roads, you're slightly less likely to be attacked. Who's that? Oh, he's actually an NPC. I thought he might be a player character. But yeah, we can drift over this way. And then actually what we might do at the beginning of the next stream, because we're coming up to time on this one. Ooh. There are bad guys around here, so I'll need my heads-up display back. What we might do is we might pop into Silvermoon itself. Hello, Marova. And pick up some trade skills. We'll have a think about what we want to do as a mage. I'm thinking probably herbalism and making potions. So alchemy would be a good combination for a wizard. So we can do that at the beginning of the next stream, and then we'll pick it up and start over again. So I'm trying to keep out of everyone's way, but I think actually aggression might be the better part of valor here. Just try and clear some of these guys out before I run through. And the other thing we could do, because we are a cloth-wearing class, is we could take tailoring and make our own clothes. So it really comes down to whether we want to kit ourselves up as we level up, or whether we want to make potions as we level up. Both have value, although potion making and herbalism, which is gathering herbs, would mean running around a lot and collecting nodes. Which might be a bit of a distraction, but if we take tailoring, we would still need a secondary one anyway. So yeah, I mean, if you have any thoughts about it, feel free to leave in chat, leave me a message and see what you say. And if not, I'll see how the mood strikes me when we log in next time. So we're just going to deliver this quest here, and then I'm going to end the stream. And next time, we will find out what happens to Anthiol's incredibly naughty minions. Students are a bit like sheep. They're useful and even likeable when you guide them and pay close attention to them. You leave them alone for a minute and they end up falling down a cliff or drowning in a shallow river. Yes, that is very, very true, actually. What calls for this interruption to my lecture, Mage? You say those two incompetent fools bribed you to lie to me? You've done very well in coming to me, Maradiva. So, we are going to do some swift discipline at the beginning of the next stream. I hope you've learned a valuable lesson today, Maradiva. Never trust someone else to lie for you. Now I want you to go back to my two dim-witted students and discipline them using this wand. My magic tells me that you'll find them along the road to the west, on the other side of the Dead Scar. Well, yes, they're basically going to be exactly where we left them. Come back to me after you've done this. I'll give you a small reward for your troubles. So that is for next time. We're going to find out what kind of punishment you get when you piss off an arcane lecturer.
Keep your wits about you. The reckoning is at hand.
So, let's see, there might be a chair or something we can sit down. Who are you? Oh, enchanting. That's something else we could do. There's a thought. I was hoping we could sit on these chairs, but we can't. But we can go and sit over here in the garden. Oh, here we go. We found some actual role players and a teleporting guard. I'm gonna nip through here and not bother them. So there we go. There's my first outing on Twitch and a returning outing to World of Warcraft. And I just want to say, for those people that have watched throughout the stream, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me basically talking to myself while I play this game. It's been actually really good fun, and we'll be doing this again on probably Wednesday afternoon. I'm hoping Wednesday and Thursday afternoon we'll put in a few more hours and we will see how far we can get with Maradiva. So thank you again for watching. I'm Guide of Misguidance. This is Maradiva, and his dragon is Marava, and we will see you next time.